We're here at HomeGymCon, day 2, going to continue to walk you through this awesome event, take you through as if you were here, some of my favorite booths, some of the things I'm interested in, so that you can experience the best of HomeGymCon. Let's go. All right, so I'm here with James and Leland from Dialed Motion, and we're gonna take you through their booths, some of their products, and kind of ask some stuff around. So first off, I wanna hear a little bit about like the reasoning behind this first, and then maybe we'll talk about some of this other stuff around here.
Yeah, so with Dialed Motion, we started out with our cable systems. So we have our Sidewinder cable system and our Ibex cable system. When we were starting out, we had a 2-post squat stand in a basement and not a whole lot of space.
Yeah.
And we wanted to add a functional trainer. And there really weren't any options that would be like very space saving and could fit our rack.
And what year was this?
This was maybe 5 years ago.
Okay, so really not that long ago, yeah.
Yeah. So we started messing around with different things. We found that a retractable cable device would solve a lot of problems with being able to adjust the height and give you that functional trainer aspects. And then a lot of people were interested in alternatives to a load pin. So then we expanded to the Ibex system, which became our best seller.
Yeah, and I've on the channel, in case people haven't seen it, I'll link some of the reviews I've done in the past below for their Ibex system. But you know, at the heart of it, obviously, is your cable patented cable retractor, and you know, the different trolleys. This is the Ibex, so it's mounted to the uprights, and the Sidewinder, we actually probably have some other footage of it too, is basically a side-mounted pulley system. So you guys basically can turn anyone's rack into a functional trainer depending on if they have 2 posts or 4 posts or 6 posts, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's really made to work with any 3-inch by 3-inch post rack. And we've expanded. Now we have a collaboration with PRX. So they're selling a version of our Sidewinder rack.
And we'll show that Rehab
Sidewinder
showed and highlighted in on the little booth tour from them too. So that's awesome to see the collab there.
Yeah. And so we keep expanding with products. So
I was going to say, speaking of other products, so you started with the functional trainer, the Ibex, the Sidewinder, and now you've gone to other things. The hottest product we'll talk about here probably in a second, but I even remember when I was doing the review for you guys, I was asking about stuff like this. Hey, now that you have this, hey, it's a 1-to-1 ratio, you know, we can do this lap pull down, we can move the, you know, the cable we can latch it onto the top. How do I support myself? How do I do a lap hold on? How do I do a low row? Do you guys have anything for that? And I think this was in the works at the time, so I couldn't get it out for the review. So maybe tell me a little bit about it. And is this available right now, by the way?
not available yet.
Okay.
We have one final production sample in the works right now. We're hoping to have this available in our next pre-order, which is going to be in August.
Yeah, cool.
So this is an adjustable foot plate, so you can adjust the angle. At the same time, that also adjusts the roller.
Pull down roller. Can you use it from the ground, or do you typically only do it from a bench?
So it's made so then you can do the row on a bench, which is our preferred method with our cable system. You're limited a little bit in how low you can go.
Okay, the upright or the
cross member.
Yep, 100%.
But to kind of get around that, if you want to use rollers lower, for example, for like doing a sit up with their feet held down or a Nordic curl, these are removable. So you can just unscrew these and take it off and put it on through any hole in your rack.
Yeah. So actually, as I'm literally looking up to, I was considering showing the lat pull down, but again, I have a video where I kind of go through that in more detail, and people can look that up if they want. But I was looking here at the cables, the handles. These are different than the ones I've seen from you guys. Would these have little bearings in them, right? Are these new handles, or are these what is included now with the Ibex and Sidewinder, or?
Yeah, we're not including D handles with the systems anymore, but this is going to be our current D handle.
A new option.
All of them will include the bearings.
Yep.
So it's really good for if you're doing like a twisting cable movement, or like a rotator cuff sort of movement. It just gets rid of that kind of like sticky feeling.
100%. Yeah, definitely. And I actually, right before we started filming, I saw this and I said, "Hey, are the safety straps yours?" And you said, "Yeah, that's one of our newer products." So, walk me through what these are, what makes them unique.
Yeah. So with the rise of rack-mounted cable systems and everything that connects to your rack, it gets more and more crowded and more you want to get your safety straps out of the way when you're doing other stuff. And we just weren't happy with what was on the market and what we had on our rack currently.
And so one of the things I do notice is, first off, is there's not that like bracket that goes around the rack. You know, that's more of like a square bracket. This is just like a latch, and it looks like a pin through the side, so it's a little more narrow profile.
The goal is to have them super easy to remove. Move back and forth.
UHMW or something on the inside.
So yeah,
like
they have UHMW on all sides. There's actually magnets behind this. So that assists with having it on the post.
Oh, cool.
So it kind of just magically glides up and down like a carriage.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it keeps you all the way in, so it makes the whole alignment really easy.
Yeah.
It will include 4 mag pins with it, which obviously have a lot of uses beyond just this.
So and the fact it doesn't have that bracket I was talking about, you know, normally it's like an integrated pin and you have to like turn it sideways and then it locks with that, kind of like a J-cup does. So because that, then you can like really store it out of the way. That's my other gripe about some safety straps, is like you have to find some weird way to store it, and then like, oh, something like this is in the way, so you have to store it a certain orientation. So so it's simple.
Very easy to remove. You don't have to like, we always hated that nub on the back that's like you're fighting it all the way up. So yeah, you can just flip it over, put it on the other side. Flip it again.
They're good looking straps too. They look, I'm a fan of like all black everything in the gym, and so they look thick, they look durable, but they look sleek as well.
Yeah, we're very happy with these. They're also reversible, so if you kind of do like the hop and it just turns out that one's underneath, then it's reversible. So
yeah, cool. So looking to the other stuff here, I think one of the big things I noticed is another attachment that's mounted right here, just taking up not that much space on the back of the rack. This is the new, what are you calling it? Leg developer, leg attachment, leg something?
At this point, we're just calling it the dialed leg developer.
Okay, developer, okay. And I didn't know, again, pardon me, it lives under a rock, so I don't consume that much content, but I have not seen this, at least to my knowledge. Is this was shown for the first time here, the rack attachment, or?
Yeah, so, I mean, this is the first time, I guess this is the first time we've shown any of the wall mount or rack mount.
Oh, so, it's a bracket. Okay, so I'm seeing it now for the first time. So I was looking, I was like, okay, where's the knurled whatever? And it's not here. And I'm like, okay, this is fixed to the rack. So you have a mounting system that's fixed to the rack.
So
and the attachment goes onto the mounting system. Cool.
So we worked really hard to have all of the kind of complexity in the quick release within kind of your standard part. And then we have this plate, which can work as a rack mount on 5/8 or 1-inch holes. Or you can put it directly to a stud on the wall.
Okay, cool. So now, right now, is this just for this attachment, or do you have other things you're going to start putting this like rack mount system for?
It's a good question. We'll see.
Cool. So all right, well let's now that you have this off, can we walk it over to the bench and show me how it works? How much does this thing weigh, by the way?
This is around 37 pounds.
Do you mind if I like feel it out of curiosity? It's the other thing I was worried about is like usually in a something like this that has a lot of moving parts and pieces, you pick it up, something swings out, hits you in the shins, or you know, it's like kind of awkward. You have to like waddle it, but no, it's all together.
If you keep the retractor locked, then this won't move.
Cool. You mind if I walk it over here and I'll let you set it up?
Yeah, you can put it right on here.
So was it also always this mounting system, or did you originally have it go into the tubing?
So we never had it go directly into the tubing because we really want this separate piece.
So that's what makes it work on different benches.
Right. So we'll sell a whole bunch of different versions of this with different tube sizes, different offsets to get these pads aligned right perfectly with the pad of your bench.
How are you handling pop pins as well? Are you doing different ones for like side mount pop pin, or?
Yeah, we'll see. Some of them might have multiple holes.
That's a lot of like customization.
So because of that customization,
we're gonna drill it.
We're trying to make this as simple as possible. This piece.
That makes a lot of sense.
So
Thoughts on it being like, would magnets help? Like magnets to fix it instead of or is the threaded pop pin, I guess, is on most benches, and probably that's enough like clamping force to like stop it from really going anywhere.
yeah, really any bench that has a tube underneath already has a pop pin.
Okay.
Yeah. Other attachments.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna line.
Yeah. You just want to line those faces up. Yep. And then you just drop it down. Perfect.
That is super easy. Cool.
And then this lock
The laser cut.
just
lock and
inserts a
unlock?
pin there
Yeah.
so that it can't lift up anymore.
Oh, cool. All right. Now, were you? I guess so. When you put this on for the first time, you should have your bench off the ground. Or are you supposed to do it where like you already kind of have the bench of the height you want? I'm guessing you would do it like this and then lower it down so that it's resting the weight on here rather than potentially on the ladder if it's in between like sides.
It's best to do it like this, where you have it up at an angle so it's resting on the ladder.
Yeah.
Because once we put it down into position, it's actually, the weight is on the foot.
Correct. So it won't actually like latch into a ladder position because the weight of the bench is being supported by.
Because every bench has like different angle adjustments, different heights.
Yeah.
So we want it to just be consistent by sitting on the foot.
Okay.
So to bring it down, you just release this, and now it's not actually on the ladder, it's sitting on the foot.
Yep. All right.
Normally you'd adjust this so it's facing the cable system a little bit before putting it down, but
and
that
the
works.
cool thing about your system is you can bring the cable to this, not some awkward like shuffle, or vice versa, cable to that, rather than some awkward bench shuffle to try to get the cable perfectly tensioned. So yeah, pretty cool.
So if it was just with our cable system, we wouldn't need a built-in retractor necessarily.
Yeah.
But since we wanted to work with any
Understanding most people might not have this, and yeah.
we have sort of a miniature version of our retractor. So our normal retractor holds 21 feet of cable.
Yeah.
This holds 6 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're able to make it a lot smaller.
Yeah.
The cable retractor allows you to,
And the unlock is at the bottom there. I didn't see it
correct.
originally.
Yeah.
So just like your other systems, the little locking mechanism at the bottom, and now you locked it in just now.
yeah.
Cool. Mind if I hop on? Oh man.
Next step in setup, we usually rotate these hands.
Oh, these rotate. No way. And they go in different angles.
Yeah,
I'm
so there's
seeing
6
it's like a
different
hexagon. There you go, hex. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Perfect.
Awesome.
That's how we usually have it set up.
That's
for,
nifty. I like that a lot. That is slick.
So
All right, so lift that up to get in, just so you have enough room for your legs.
Yep.
That is, I was on the rep bench earlier, and again, same thing, trying to like, sit on, waddle on, and like tuck your legs between. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So, and then
So we do this adjustment first.
for the ankles.
Yes. So that gets it.
Okay.
ankle
I'll
side.
have to figure out.
And
how to
then
do it.
hold this hand on here,
Okay.
and then that one comes out. Yeah.
Okay.
And that gives you the depth.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to figure out what the bottom range of motion is here. About there. Okay. I was seeing how far it went back or what it was hitting.
Depends
I guess
on
it
the
depends
bench.
on the it depends on the bench. So like if it doesn't have anything there, I could technically go further back. So
They're fun stuff.
all right. So we'll give this a go. So it's locked in. There's no like secondary. Oh, that's very smooth. So is there a cam on here, or is it straight, just straight linear cable resistance?
So this is a cam up here.
Yeah.
So there is, it's harder at the bottom, and then it drops
Oh,
off
okay,
a little
because the
bit at
cable's up
top.
here. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
just
what I
watch
was
your
wondering.
fingers there.
Yeah, okay, yes. At my own risk. That's what it is. Okay, because I can feel it change a little bit, and I was wondering if it's a straight cable drive, why. Yeah, so it gets like right up here, it's easier. Which is what you want. And my gripe about some other leg extension leg curls, where you either have a very even resistance curve, which is like if you have a lot of weight here and then you're still pushing a lot of weight here, it's very uncomfortable.
Then you're just always maxing out at the top.
The pads are nice. I like the density of them too. I want to.
Yeah, so this is a prototype. We're still testing different pads. We may move to a upholstered version, but yeah.
No,
we're getting everyone's feedback.
This is pretty nice. I'm interested. I'm getting cramps already in the quads, which is a good sign. Good sign. So getting out of this, and Oh, all the adjustments are because this is seated. I forgot. This is not a laying leg extension leg curl.
It's actually both.
Oh, it's both.
It's both.
No way.
Yeah.
All right, you're teaching me something new. Okay, so now I'm gonna try. Okay, how do I wonder if I
We're
could
seated.
Yeah.
You always have resistance in both directions with our cam.
Yep.
And we did a lot to try to reduce the slop.
Yep.
So all you have to do to adjust for a seated is just lift this up.
Okay.
It's best if you always hold here when you're adjusting this pin.
Yep.
So you're away from any pinch points.
Okay.
And then usually you want to bring this in just a little bit.
Yep. Now what? Okay, I was gonna say, now what am I doing with my knees? Just putting my hands there? Or, yeah. All right, we've got this. So then this slides.
It sits onto these studs.
Okay. Oh, this way?
Oh, no. You
I have it right? Oh, it turns backwards.
Correct.
There you go. Oh, man, this is too much technology. You and Larry over at Bulletproof need to provide me
So
a.
you'll probably have to slide forward a little bit. You want your knees like in line with this pivot or even a little bit forward so you get more range of motion.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
More. No.
We're going to add a little bit more granularity, like
Okay.
more teeth on there.
Yeah.
That's one of the
That-
changes.
That's one thing, because. Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
So it's a little easier going this way because you have the
Yeah.
extra weight of the arm helping you instead of.
Can I pop this up one more too?
Yeah, definitely.
Hypothetically. Let's see if I can.
There you go.
There we go, to get the little bit of pre-stretch on there. All right.
Yeah, if you slide forward a little bit too, then you can get more
All
range
right.
of motion.
Nice. And we're only doing, I don't know, 35 pounds on here. Oh, I'll be all right with the weight. It's, it's like, I'll be all right.
You get the sense?
Yeah. All right, so okay, so this is seated. Now you can do prone by taking this off, right?
Correct.
This
Take
is,
that
okay,
off.
this just slides off the top. Okay, cool.
For prone,
Oh, I'm interested. I like how you guys, again, from an engineering standpoint, I'm always interested. Like, okay, that was the single locking. Where's the double locking? It was this little, this little piece here. So prone, and you have a
prone, you want to rotate this around so then this isn't hitting your butt.
So why is that 360 degrees, by the way? This, like, why are the pop pins 360 degrees? I would only, you would need like 180.
So for adjusting for different leg lengths, it's about from here to maybe here that you need the adjustment for different leg lengths. And then for the prone, we pull it around to this side so that this isn't hitting your butt.
Yep.
So that gives you almost another half adjustment. We don't technically need them like in the middle.
Yeah.
But I don't know, people want most adjustment possible.
Yeah,
So might as well put a couple.
All right. And does that have numbers on it too? This one?
This one has numbers. This one, once it's powder coated, we'll do some sort of.
Okay, so got it. So that one's like laser cut, and this one might have them just like painted or
Yeah, we might
it somehow.
have it powder coated with holes cut and then have the stainless backing.
Okay, is it going to be
Personal.
black the color, or is it? You don't know yet.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have it similar to like the render here.
Okay, all right, there you go.
With black and then stainless accents.
Cool. All right, I'll give this a try, and then. You think this is all right, like height? You know better than I do, but
Yeah, we'll see.
okay.
I can, yeah.
If it's not perfect, it's okay. Oh, that's a lot harder prone.
Yeah, it's a harder leg curl that way.
Oh, you can get a good range of motion. Wow. You can go all the way back here. Wow.
Yeah, the prone allows you to get a little bit tighter of a curl.
Yeah.
And then the seated
Gosh.
is nice because you get more of a stretch on the hamstring.
My work has a Life Fitness selectorized prone hamstring curl.
Yeah.
And even that doesn't have the same range of motion. Like I can't touch my butt with these rollers on.
Nice.
So that's a good extra like 3-4 inches of like extension or like contraction at the end that you can get that. I'm really impressed by that. Wow.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. Cool. Well, thanks so much for showing that for me. And so what's the ETA on this? Like later this year? What are you guys thinking as far as this for?
Goal is open a pre-order before the end of the year.
Okay.
And then
Price points?
price points.
Yeah.
So
Ballpark, if they're not nailed down.
we have not gotten a production quote yet.
Yep.
That will be our next step.
Yep.
But just back of the envelope calculations.
Yeah.
We're hoping to keep everything under 1,000.
Yep.
So that would be this plus the leg hold down.
Okay.
Probably without the leg hold down, it would be more around 800.
Okay.
Yeah. Tariffs.
Yep.
Haven't priced it yet. We'll see.
Yep. And again, for everyone, it's cable driven, but you include the cable retractor, so you can just basically move your bench and set up once you have this up to any cable system. So it'll work with any existing cable system, but it's not plate loaded. So you cannot do plates.
No plates.
Yes. But that's part of also what makes it feel so good is because you're using the linear cable resistance plus your internal cam mechanism here to kind of create your, resistance curve how you guys want it to be. So it's awesome. Well, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to try it and start to see it out in the wild later this year then.
Yeah, we'll have to get you one for a review.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do that. Looking forward to it. All right. Thanks, James. Appreciate it. I'm here with Larry from Bulletproof Fitness, and this is some early looking prototype parts. What are these?
Yeah, so when we were coming, one of the things that people asked for that was kind of surprising, but maybe not, because I know everyone's an enthusiast. A lot of the people are passionate about the space, but people are like, hey, show us the old units. I'm like, you want me to bring rusty old stuff? They're like, yeah, bring it. So even though it feels weird talking about the history of us because we're still so young, but a lot of people don't realize that a lot of this stuff was made a long time ago, and it was made for my gym. So when I had a group training gym, we did traditional fitness approach. So I like to do isolated movements with compound movements. Training 50 people, a leg extension can be very hard because you're not going to have 50 leg extension machines. So
100%.
One of the main things I wanted to drop was something that could accomplish those isolated movements in a group setting. And so this was the first isolator. So this would go around your upright. You would bolt the plate back there, and then these wheels would bring it up and down. This is like a plastic bushing, and this was the weight arm, and this was the lever arm. And this couldn't accomplish one repetition. So it didn't work at all.
Did you make this, or how did you even
we started out where I would just sketch stuff and I would send it to a factory and explain what I wanted.
Yeah.
And basically they didn't think it would work. They would kind of almost send me, I didn't realize at the time, but they would send me stuff wrong to just make me leave them alone because they're like, we don't want to make it, it's complicated. Yeah. So once I got this, I realized I had to try to find another factory, and I also had to refine the process. Yeah. So we went from this not working to this was the first unit that we posted and was a proof of concept for the business. So at my gym at the time, I had a girl that shot video for me who did like the CrossFit games and all this stuff. She was a really great video person. I was like, hey, we're gonna shoot this video that's gonna look like a commercial for a real business, and we're gonna put it online and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so this version, I had refined it a lot. It actually worked.
I mean, the difference in the two of these is already significant.
Yeah, so this was a few years. This was like, I think 2017 or something like that. And then this was several years later, we landed here.
Yep.
And when we posted that video, it went viral. It gave me confirmation that I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm onto something, and let's go figure it out. And that was the beginning of like diving in head first.
Yeah.
The video got crazy traction. The funny thing is that video was the best video we've ever done. All my videos now are like me on an iPhone.
Still up to date,
Yeah. So, but this version also is cool to show people because a lot of people see our stuff and they're like, it's very heavy. And I want to show people that we start with light stuff. I want it to be light, inexpensive, easy to set up. When it becomes heavy, it's only out of necessity because it can't function.
Can I pick this up?
Yeah, it'll probably fall apart.
Oh,
but
yeah. Oh, that's. I honestly expected it to be heavier than it was.
Yeah. So I mean, this would have been great had it worked.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there we go.
Yeah. And so same thing with this. You can see here, like, yeah, you gotta worry about that. All right. the hex shaft here is a lot smaller than our final version. So this, when you put it in to do a leg extension, you would get it faced here, and this end point would end up out here, flexing really, really bad. So you can see here, we even had 3/4 of the cam missing to make it lighter. So we did everything we could to make it lighter.
Yeah.
But it had massive flexion and just didn't properly work. So then we evolved from here to the final isolator over here. And you can see that we went from a rectangle tube to a square. And the big thing for that wasn't as much strength, but it was the ability to turn the weight horn. Now you can have a side mounted weight horn or forward. When you were on a rectangle, I would have had to sell 2 different weight horns.
So now, was that a production version? So was when this went out, the first isolator, was it always the square tube?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the first one shown. And then everyone was hyped on it. I was like, let's go. And I'm going to make all the refinements and then drop it. So a lot of people thought they were going to get that. And it ended up being this.
It's actually funny you say that. I actually remember seeing that version, and I didn't think in my mind that it went on both sides. because I thought it was only the front version. Yeah.
Because people were asking, and I was thinking I was going to sell 2 different weight sleeves, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. Change it to square, and so then you can make it universal.
Yep.
And then we changed the size of the hex shaft, hex ports, and we made the seat bigger, and just changed some of the other stuff, added more padding, added our pump by numbers and stuff like that, so it got to a refined version like that.
100%. And this is, for everyone who doesn't know, this is called the Bulletproof Isolator. It's basically a modular lever type system that has different attachments that you can do things like preacher curls here, right? Or a leg extension, leg curl, tricep extensions.
Yep.
You name it. Probably a back extensions. I don't know, a ton of different things.
Yeah, so there's a bunch.
Oh, and I just realized, so you can do 2x2. You do 2x3. Oh, okay.
So the goal when we first dropped was I wanted to be the company for the people. I was like, dude, I always had no money setting my gyms up. I was using home gym stuff in the commercial space. Don't throw me in jail for it, but it was like so wrong, but I had no money. Nobody made anything for any of those racks. So I wanted to show here at the show, this rack is as low cost as it can be. Like the whole thing will flex if I move this.
This is like a Amazon whatever rack.
Yeah, but I wanted to show people we make it to fit anything.
That's so cool.
So we added little eyelets to this to hook a cable to, so you could do like curls with it with a strap and stuff too. So yeah, it kind of does we called it the isolator because it does all those isolated movements. Preacher curls, tricep.
The numbering system, was that always on here,
we had launched that after, but now we sell the kits. And so we're actually going to be dropping if you remember the early days of MyFitnessPal where it was community contribution, we've set up a whole video upload site where we're going to run a contest, give away a bunch of money and equipment. Everybody can upload their pump by numbers. So you'll make your profile and say, I follow you. I know I'm the same height as you. You like a really heavy load at the beginning of the movement. What rack you have. So you can search by people that have your rack, people that have your height, or just highest rated setups. So it'll say green 7, yellow 4. So I'll know exactly how to set it up. One of the things we've noticed is it being so versatile and modular can be one of 2 things. People love it, or they get overwhelmed and they don't know what to do with it.
My friends in my home gym, I'm the one who like loves these, you know, the lever arms with all the different angle adjustment stuff. That's me, and they come here and they're like, dude, how am I supposed to ever get set up for this? Like, I'm just going to ignore that and go do something else.
And so we know if we want this to be something everybody wants to use, you have to make it way easier. So if people say it's valuable and easy, then it's valuable. If it's valuable, but it's hard, it's not valuable anymore because nobody's going to do it. So that pump by numbers now, I think is going to be really valuable. We've gone through 4 different tech teams that have all failed and crashed servers and everything else. But we're finally, I think, at the final tail end where you'll be able to go on, find any setup you want, and be able to search by any parameter and be able to find what you want.
Wow, that's cool. And it's called Pumps by Numbers?
Pump by Numbers. So on our box, you see like the old paint by numbers. He had a fro and everything. We've got like a cartoon of me with a fro and like threw it in the paint. So it's like a spin of paint by numbers by pump by numbers.
Awesome.
So then we ended up going from here. We have our ab straps. So this was a unit that after I made my belt squat belt, which we could show after this, I was like, you know what? I found a good soft goods manufacturer, and this was something I always wanted to make, but I kind of thought, I was like, dude, I'm probably going to get roasted for this. Like ab straps, I don't think they're the most popular thing. But I want to make stuff that I always wanted to make that I thought would be better. And so the ab straps, I always use ab straps. They're not comfortable, and I always feel like my hands are flailing.
I commented that on Instagram, and we had mentioned that because I was like, finally, your like hands can find an appropriate place to be.
Dude, I'm like, every time you'd see me doing it, it's like I'm gripping in 5 different ways. So we wanted something, this hasn't been shown yet except at the show. We added more reinforcement under here, so it'll actually disperse the load. We had it with a center strap, so even though it had cushion, all of your weight was resting on this reinforced portion. So we'll end up having this can come off and wash easier, and it's added cushion, and then you have it all out of this cool neoprene material.
Oh wow, that's also a lot lighter than I thought, the material, based on like what it looked like. I thought it can be really like heavy.
So it's light, it's very soft and cool, and then a knurled handle that can come off and be used as any combination of strap and handle or just handle. So you can end up, you know, I've got it around my hips and doing trunk rotation movements. Cool. So it does all sorts of stuff.
Awesome.
And then this, like I said, I can kind of lead into our belt. We have our belt squat belt. We had shown our isolator, and I used our long lever arm, and then I used the normal lever arm as a kickstand, and I was showing people how you can do a belt squat with our isolator. And I was using like an old dip belt, and they're like, bro, it hurts us to watch you using that belt. And I was like, you know what, I don't really care. I was like, what kind of belt is good? And they're like, you should sell it as a bundle. Sell the equipment needed on the isolator with a belt. So the funny thing was, everybody sent me a few belts they liked, but they all said, this could be better, that could be better. So I kind of realized, hey, you know what? If I'm going to do this, this will be an easy win. I couldn't have been more wrong. This belt.
It's just a belt, right?
The entire Discord community has roasted me so many times. It's like, bro, if you show us another sample of that belt and don't drop it, we're going to lose all faith in you. But it ended up being one of those things that was just more challenging than I expected, but very fulfilling to finally get it, because the belt makes such a crazy difference. We have a belt squat unit that we're dropping, and going through testing of that unit using this belt and other belts, you really notice how much you're restricted and how much you can lift when you're worrying about pinch points and pain and things like that. So the idea was, how do we drop a belt that's more ergonomic? It has a few major elements. People love D-rings, but there was a few issues. One, most D-rings are so wide that when they get into the crease of your hip and your leg, they dig in. So the idea was, make the D-rings much more narrow than any other D-rings, so you still easily clip and unclip. We've all used the fabric ones before, and the carabiner gets stuck in there. So make them thin, but then also add padding like none of the other ones have. So make it a smooth material without stitching that hits you. So you have this soft neoprene if you are wearing shorts or anything, or thin pants. You have a very soft material and a massive amount of padding. So now you have the ability to clip in quick, but you have padding and you have these thin D-rings. The next thing was, I had Googled ergonomics. And I was like, okay, I know nothing about ergonomics. I always thought like a mattress. It's like, okay, it's not just comfort, it's comfort in relation to the performance. So I was like, okay, so I was like, started to look into it, and they were saying like the orientation and the stitch patterns and the way they do stitching. So it was a cool rabbit hole to go down, because I was like,
stitch patterns, that's great, like direction of stitching.
So you'll see here is, one was the shape. I realized when I started assessing the biomechanics and the shape of the belt, a lot of them didn't have any sort of taper. So you have this blockiness here, and it doesn't want to fold right. Also, as you'll see the directional stitching here, we have all of these lines here that when this gets into the crease of your
leg, folds then,
the whole thing wants to fold in at this stitch pattern. So now you have this direction cut down, and the idea was also to make it to where you had a padded, reinforced, strong material on the inside, and then a soft, very thick, padded belt underneath that could also be washed.
I can imagine this feels fantastic.
Oh, it's crazy.
At it.
It's crazy. Like it's pretty wild. When this is on and you put this on, we also did stitching this direction, so when it folds around your body, it naturally folds. But when you put this thing on, you can load it up, and you don't feel any pinching or any pain at all.
This reminds me of like I think of like a gel like mattress, like a thin gel mattress. It's just like it's firm, but it's like you can tell there's like support and softness to it as well.
And the crazy thing was, I went through all those samples, found a factory that they're the #1 manufacturer for like punching bags, gloves, body armor. They do Kevlar.
Oh, wow.
And so that factory was my savior. They were like, what do you want it to do? What do you need? Blah, blah, blah. They're like, go to your hotel, come back tomorrow. Came back the next day, sample was almost perfect.
Oh, wow.
Like one refinement. So it really just took me doing enough research and then finding the right factory, and that combination came together. And we were able to make something that was really cool. And then a week later, they made the ab straps. It's like, now I have that relationship, and I'm able to translate that.
Cool.
So it's pretty cool. So we've got this, and then we've got...
So real quick while we're walking over here, with the timeline of everything, so the isolator, you were talking about, you know, the early prototype 2017, then you had...
we have the Versa arms over there that are old. You want to hit those next?
So no, I was just going to say, as far as like a product progression, it was the isolator, was it the VTS that was next, and now you have this whole... What was the
timeline's pretty odd, because it was, we actually had a GHD 45 Hyper T-bar row was my first patented unit that I made, but that was just for my gyms. And then I made a bench that was on guide rods and linear bearings that you could hook to our Smith machine that I had designed. So if you ever see the Inspire Smith machine, they have a bar that latches into the weight stacks. So we had done something similar where you can manually latch it or use the weight horn. So Smith machine could latch to the stacks or to weight bins. And then you could hook the bench up to the back, and you'll see our Smith machine had a platform at the back. So you would bring the bench in and hook the cables up, and then you could do leg press or hack squat in the rack. So those two were made, and they were made at my gyms. And so that's kind of what led me here, is people would see our marketing videos and be like, holy crap, how do I buy that equipment? I'm like, I don't sell equipment. This is for my gym.
Yeah.
Join my gym. They're like, no, we want the equipment.
Yeah.
So those were the first ones that were used for my gym.
Yeah.
I evolved into a few more units for the gym.
Yeah.
And then when we were first selling to the public, the isolator was the first unit. And the next one was supposed to be our Versa arm.
Okay.
That was like 2018 also.
Yeah.
And what had happened was they were really heavy, really robust. We can walk over and I can show you that one too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
So you can see how rusted this is. So it's all rusted up.
wild.
This is on linear bearings and guide rods, and it's set right now to one click over to do like a convergent chest press. Or
and
military
so
press.
it's made, is this the way it's meant to face off of a rack, or it can really go?
It can go any direction, and it can also face, you're able to converge and diverge as well, so any of these ways. So you have the ability to lock this in place or move freely like this. So you can twist this pin and it'll fall into any of these holes here.
All right.
So you lock it in place, or you pull the pin and twist it to keep it disengaged for pressing like this.
Wow.
So
Okay, 180 degrees left to right, then also tilting in some angle. I can't see what it fully goes to. And then also front to back, well, 360, 180, it looks like.
yeah. And then also you have an arm that comes off with a weight plate to do leverage movements. So it does all leverage pressing and pulling as well.
Wow.
When this was dropped, I had two versions, the linear bearings and one that was on a trolley. That's kind of how the VTS came about. Is the community added me to Discord, and they're like, you got to get on Discord. And I'm like, I don't use it. They're like, go on.
Yeah.
And they lit me up. They're like, bro, the arms are cool, but you already said you're redoing them.
Yeah.
Drop the VTS as a Smith machine for a rack. You already have it on the arm.
Yeah.
And that's really where it came from.
Yeah.
My buddy Mo that's over here now, I met him through Discord, and he made it his mission. He's like messaging me. He's like, bro, you need to turn that into a regular unit. Get away from the arms while you redo them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that came about.
Wow.
Now we're circling back to finalizing this. And this was just very heavy, and it just didn't make sense in a lot of ways. So we were able to take the concept and over a period of time refine it.
Yeah.
It has better mobility, range of motion, more function, and it's lighter, less expensive. So we just refined everything to a better place.
Now, is this something to be baked on the horizon for this year or next year, or
Yeah, so
DVD?
yeah, it's supposed to be in a couple weeks. I'm supposed to see a sample of it.
Yeah.
And again, it's like one of those things, since it's been from 2018, I would sound pretty ridiculous to go, I'm sure it's ready this time.
Yeah.
But I will say that I am a lot more confident. The last times that I've seen stuff, it required very small changes. Where this, I knew when I got it, it was far away from where it needed to be for a finished product. So it is close. It could easily be within a month. I could be hitting pre-sale.
Yeah.
And it could maybe be 6 months, you know, but it definitely shouldn't be a lot longer than that. I couldn't see anything going wrong for that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the idea was to show this. A lot of people saw the Versa arms and they're like, you know what, man, that seems very complex, and I can't imagine that's going to be anytime soon. And I wanted to show people this didn't happen anytime soon. It started a really long time ago. So yeah, you're right. It doesn't happen overnight, but I've been working on it since 2017 or something. So so the rusted old unit had a meaning.
Yeah.
So we've got this, and then we've got some of the other older units too, where we have, these are like original dip bars that I had welded up with old scrap metal to basically be in the isolator, so you can plug them in and then you're able to do dips. So we'll be dropping that. I wanted to kind of show people this was like my earliest welding job, which is real ugly.
Those
So these are the upgraded hex shop now. So that's compared to the old ones. This is our linkage handle to do any type of pulling movement with our arms.
Okay.
So, you know, any of our rowing movements, we always see these kind of handles.
I was just at the Galt House here. They have Nautilus Nitro series, and very, very similar. And it was really nice to be able to like move both up and down, but like your wrist angles like moving.
And those are always my goal. It's how do I translate my favorite commercial functions into a multi-use home unit? And so this allows that. The 3D handle here, this will work on our Versa arms. You can articulate this in all the ways.
These are meant to be lockable and fixed, the 3D handles, correct?
Yep. So I knew when I look at my favorite leverage machines, you look at a lever arm that goes like this, a weight that comes out here, and a handle that comes like this. And I'm like, to make all of that work, you have to have so much modularity and movement. So I knew the handle would be a weak link if we didn't make something.
Yeah, and I'm looking. I mean, the different rotation points from the bearings and the different locking angles. Wow, yeah, you can really just and distance too.
Yeah, so telescopes in and out.
Yeah,
the angles. So this, we mocked up all my favorite setups. And we finally have one that, you know, and the weight of it isn't light, but it's not crazy heavy. Where we have our other version from this that was before. and this is on a solid steel rod, linear bearings. So this, a lot of people saw me post this and they were like, sell it, sell it. I'm like, you don't want this. It weighs 10 tons and it's crazy.
Wow.
We were also mocking up the hook to where you could put this in the VTS.
Oh, yeah.
Run a barbell across your rack.
Yeah.
And imagine this hooking on, you press it up, move it out of the way of the barbell, and now you're using your VTS, and then you bring it back up. So now you have kind of a swiveling, rotating handle with the VTS.
Now could you actually show me those 360 handles on one of the VTSs here?
Yeah.
Okay. It's so simple but effective, like the little valley in those connectors is just you thread it down and now it's not going anywhere.
Kind of set any angle you'd want for like any sort of pressing from here.
Yeah.
And then you could adjust it in any direction that you really want.
Yeah.
So if you want it to be closer here, then you're able to kind of have any sort of grip out, in, and then telescope this in or out too. So like if this were on a wider rack, you wanted anything to be really close, you can do that. And then the ability here. So you can really do kind of any of the grips that you want.
Yeah. Now this is made specifically for the VTS, and then you have
actually this is kind of overkill for the VTS. It's really kind of be future proof for the Versa arms and other things.
That's what I was going to ask, because that's what I thought it was also for, is the Versa arms.
Yeah. Because you can see here, it's useful. I have another handle that's a little more simple that could go on here that doesn't need to do all of this. But I've seen people comment about this like, oh, he's lost it, it's way overkill. And I just want people to always know, like, maybe I have lost it, but not that much to where I would make something that has no rhyme or reason. So always know that if you buy something like this, it is going to have future application. You're gonna say, I'm glad that I bought that, because now it doesn't just work here, it works there and down and there. So anything that seems like it has more function than needed on what you're buying it for, know that it will function on something later.
Yeah, 100%.
So this came from the Versa arms, and now it can work here. And like I mentioned, we haven't really shown it yet, but the idea is to switch this from a bushing to a bearing and have the final test to where if you had the hook on here and a barbell back here, the hook could be on here, I could press it up, rotate this out, do my pressing movements, and then go back and hook it to the barbell.
Yeah, okay.
So now I have the ability to actually have a latching system with this articulating handle too.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of different applications we'll continue to unlock for it.
Yeah. So, and besides this handle, you have, what other type of handles do you have either offered? I know that 360 bearing handle is one of them.
We have this telescoping handle. So this handle can telescope in and out for width or both directions. So you can telescope here, or you can end up telescoping this out too. So you end up having both of these ways that this can work. So if you wanted something that does that, and then also it has the ability to change the angle here. So if this was on my Versa arms or my lever arms, I could basically take this and make it to where it changes the angle if I was doing like a row. So I would be able to put this on and do a neutral grip row at any whip. So
cool.
The idea is like something that can be overkill, that does everything you need and more, and then all the way down to something that just does what you want. So for me, is the handles really do a lot of that. It's like you have to have the right handle for the job.
Completely changes, it changes everything.
So then we have the outrigger arms here, which are, if you ever see like some of the all-in-one gyms, they'll use those outrigger arms to kind of like do a fly, things like that. The idea was that, but also you could lock it with the cams. So if you ever see the like articulating dip machines, that'll have like a lever arm come down and then up with a ball end. So you'll kind of do almost like a tricep extension dip. So imagine the ISO arms coming out at an angle, and then this coming up, and you lock the arms that way. Now you can grab it, and you can be doing like an articulating dip. So you can make these move free and do a fly. You can do all sorts of stuff, pressing and pulling curls, all hooked to the ISO arms, or lock it in any way. And so now you get to do more of those rigid type of movements as well.
And the ISO arms, speaking of those, so when are those either out or available?
So these we've been selling pre-sale, they're in production now. So so these are already done. The outrigger arms are gonna be dropping soon. So this was the old port we were showing to kind of show that this will have a weight horn that can go on it. So the ISO arm could be working off the isolator, or you could end up putting this sleeve on and actually putting weight on the arm itself to do regular pressing and pulling movements. So it allows you to load weight in two different ways.
Awesome.
So these things are pretty cool. And then we have the 360 bearing handle since we're on the topic of handles.
Sure. And these are another one that you already had a pre-sale for, or they are on pre-sale right now?
Yeah. So we had the original version. This is like the second version. The last version's a cross between the two.
Yeah.
It has this really nice knurled handle, but they ended up adding this extra ring inside, which it made the handle area smaller, which I don't like. So it'll open back up again.
Okay.
They made this stem way too long and things like that. So it'll have a few refinements.
Yeah.
A couple of the cool things we added is the spring pin can remove this stem, and you can add a hex shaft there. So now these can go in our ISO arms or any of that other stuff too.
Cool. Yeah.
So you'll be able to have cross compatibility with each of these things. Same with the swivel handle, you can add a hex shaft on that too.
Yeah.
So all this stuff can kind of be used with the VTS or the ISO arms, the isolator, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now these, do they also tilt front to back? Like,
Well, they would, when you latch it, so you would want it locked like this.
Okay,
When you come up, you're able to unlatch it like that.
Got it.
You would want to set the hook to be at the angle that you want. So normally these would be set back a little more.
Yep.
And then when you come up, you're going to unlatch
so
it.
you can set them to whatever angle you
however you want
okay.
it.
So that when you're pressing, it's comfortable. Yeah, however you want
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So the idea with these is I want to make sure that the
And again, 360 degree, and then you can lock them into any one of these.
Yep.
Cool.
And I could kind of show you guys a little press with them. Yeah, and then you're able to just kind of loosen the hook.
Yeah.
And then spin the unit to whatever starting point that you want.
Yep.
And then just always making sure that the hook is tight again after. But I could show you guys kind of a little press of it.
Oh, for sure.
So it can kind of come down and stretch and supinate, come back up.
That looks very comfortable.
And then what I have people do is you can see here, when you go to latch it, keeping your hands neutral allows it to be real easy like this. So if you were to try to move it like this, your hands want to wobble.
Yeah.
So having your hands in this neutral position makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I did a there was a Ken Sui Fitness has a fixed bar. It has essentially 360 degree rotating handles, but they're a set width, so the ability to do both.
Yeah.
And lock it.
And we're working on a barbell like that. We started a patent on, you can take these and imagine you had a bearing on a collar on each end.
Yeah.
And so you could set the width of the bearing handles, or you could allow them to move freely.
Yeah. And that was one of the things I said, and I don't know if you saw over at Wait It Out, their bar.
Him and I talked because he was like, hey bro, I heard you kind of have a patent on this, but the guy I'm working with has too. So I was like, bro, that happens. I know we've both been working on it a long time. So yeah, him and I talked, but mine is different, but they do have similarities.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Brian about that, which is the ability to adjust all of the adjustments, in and out, rotating, locked, like those are all fantastic to have the versatility.
Yeah, and so this is like you said, is you could choose it. You just want it locked here, but rotating here.
Yep.
Or you want it fixed here, but moving like this. So you're gonna press up and converge.
Yeah. Oh man, that's gotta feel so good.
Oh yeah, it's super cool. The big issue a lot of people don't think about is, I'm sure you've seen the bars that end up having the grooves in them. So as you press and they rotate,
exactly.
the squeeze bar.
Yeah.
So it's actually a genius design that he had, because what happens if you don't have anything that prevents the unit from moving faster on one side than the other is, imagine you press up and push harder with your right side, it's all gonna fall off balance. So the fact that they have those grooves keeps it even. We're using a spring system that you can put on there. So imagine you could choose the rate of the spring. So say it's 2 pounds or 5 pounds or 8 pounds. You're choosing the resistance that you're pushing against the spring as well as up. But it also prevents you from pushing harder with one side than the other and falling off balance. So that's what took us a long time. We had the unit and I'm like, this thing's dangerous. You know, because it's all over the place. So I think that final change will land us in a good product.
Cool. That's great. So,
and then we've got the multi-flight over here too.
Oh, this is was this an Instagram I saw recently?
Yep.
Because I saw Mr. Adrian Gluck just did the review of this, and then he was talking about, hey, Larry's got some crazy VTS design with this. So
what had happened was I had started learning to weld, and I decided before we came, I wanted to try to make a multi-flight. I went online to look at all the parts, and I'm like, they're gonna take 30 days to get here. I was like, why don't I buy a unit and try to just fabricate it to give an idea of what I'm trying to make? And I was in a day able to do that. And the really cool part about it is showing people more the development of our process than anything. I think this will be a cool unit, but the idea was to show we made this in a day, and then I 3D scanned it and sent it to our engineer. while we were driving here, we went back and forth on
Yeah.
refinements, and it's in for sample now.
Okay, so you have your own version of this, but
Yeah.
this is from, is this yours? Is this from another?
No,
company?
this was, we got it off Temu.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So, but you now are gonna have your own.
Yeah.
Like.
So what we
version
did
of
is
it.
we ended up, it was a standalone unit. We just cut the parts off
Yeah.
and I added a 3x3 tube to align the cable here. And then on one side, I added a spring pin to tighten it down to take out any of the slock. And the cool thing about this is a lot of people ask what this threaded portion is for.
Yeah.
That's for a pulley. So you can put a pulley on there and use the side weight horn. And imagine this going on sideways. You stick a single pin through. This cable doesn't have this pulley it uses that. You just wrap it around.
Yeah.
And this weight horn that you usually leave on your VTS,
Yeah.
you throw a few plates on and go.
Yeah.
And you're done. You pull one pin out, take this off, set it aside, and you're done.
Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so this will be a cool new unit.
Yeah.
I am happy about the unit, but it was more kind of a conversation piece of like the development of our process and how I feel more confident that we're going to bring more to market faster by
Yeah.
refining these kind of
Yeah.
processes.
Wow.
So
Cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
And then this is the swivel handle. So the swivel handle here, it'll come with collars to be able to set the distance here. You can set the hook to go in the upright, or you can slide this over and hook it to a pin so it can articulate further. So if you imagine this being set out further, this whole thing could pass by the hex ports. You could do skull crushers,
Oh.
things like that. You can do bicep curls. You're able to have,
that is going to be the next version of this.
this was the first version. This is
Okay.
already for sale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the current handle can already go all past that.
Yeah. So well, this one could too, to where I could end up expanding this out.
You can slide it
So
down.
all of this, it'll come with two sets.
Yeah.
One will be smaller wing nuts to this, but you can use your hands, or you can just use an Allen key to tighten them down if you don't feel like moving them. But if you wanted to move it over, you would just scoot this over, set the collars, and go. And the cool part about it is you have the ability to use a Smith machine with a fixed movement.
Man, that's so cool.
But you can also have all of this play, and then when you're done, you just go back over and put it onto the hook.
I don't think watching how smooth that is, and I'm gonna have you come here, is seeing that from the side as it's just moving, but with the different moments in here, it's crazy. They're both the rotation of the shaft and the
Yeah, we ended
I don't know
up
the
using
brackets itself.
sealed bearings too. So the idea was,
I mean, it's very free moving. I thought there'd be a little bit of friction or something.
Well, that's why a lot of people ask. These are overkill. The final
Yeah.
ones are smaller. And you can see we drew our chalk line here, so they actually will indent and be thinner.
Okay.
But a lot of people asked why it was larger, and I'm like, until you use it, you don't realize the difference between a bushing and a sealed bearing.
Yeah.
A sealed bearing, you could load this thing up to the gills, and
Yeah.
you won't feel a single ounce of resistance.
Yeah.
So it's just a big difference. If you
Wow.
were to put side by side a bushing handle that,
Yeah.
that articulates and this, it's not even the same thing
Yeah.
at all. So
Wow.
I'm really happy with it. Our first version had like brass or copper bushings or something. They were terrible.
Uh-huh.
And so this version now, I was insistent on making the bearings work. So it took a while to source the right size bearings that could go in here and everything, but yeah, we were able to make it work. So it's a cool unit now.
Yeah.
You can do rows, presses, and everything, utilizing a hook to start at an ideal position
Yep.
and still have that little bit of articulation.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
So what are the handles right now you have available for VTS? So you have the traditional like straight knurled ones.
Yep.
You have the bar as well to connect them, or not yet?
We have the light bar.
Okay,
That
that's
one
what
over
I
here.
saw over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have 360.
Yeah,
You have
360
the
handles. The
what
3D handles, we have the articulating handle. We have the other telescoping handle that's going to be dropping.
Yeah.
So we have the outrigger arms that are dropping.
Yeah.
So we have a regular outrigger that doesn't lock in place.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really wide range of attachments.
I'm in this space and I can't even keep track of all the different like launches and releases and attachments.
Yeah, that's part of the problem for us too, is keeping
Yeah.
everybody informed and organized of what's going on.
And understanding of it too.
Yeah.
Because like you show it doing this thing and then people are either like you said, like, wow, that's just too much.
Yep.
So
So that's part of the learning curve for sure, which I feel like I'm getting better at, is you always think everybody thinks like you do. Like, oh yeah. And so then you realize when you're like, I've shown that now, you love it.
Yeah.
Like, what does it do? I'm like, oh
Yeah.
wow, okay, I did a really bad job at that. So I think I'm getting better at that now. I need to slow down on the development
Yeah.
and taking 5 seconds to launch it
Yeah.
and spend more time really nurturing the experience of getting to know what we're adding and why it's valuable. So
Yeah.
hopefully I do better and better with that, because it's important.
100%. And that's where I think like reviews and stuff are helpful too. So like someone can break down whether it's one product or two products in like a longer form way
sure.
that like really there shows all the different movements they're doing.
It makes a huge difference.
Because you can only, I mean, you're limited on time, especially like if it's an Instagram, whatever, you're trying to convey the most amount of information or show how it's being used.
Yep.
And someone's like, I have 15 questions on that I need answered.
I feel like the reviews are a huge part. One of the things we're doing with the factories now is I told each of them, I want to do something abstract. When a unit is done, I want to get 3 samples of everything that are dropping for pre-sale so I can send them off for reviews.
That's a great idea.
So the idea is instead of waiting for all the products to drop, people to review them and then feel confident to buy, I can get pre-sale open, 3 different people reviewing, send them to the next few people to review. Over a whole period of time, we continue building confidence. Or if there is problems, I'm gonna figure it out before it ever hits anybody's hands. So I feel a lot better about that process.
That's a great idea, actually, because then you don't slow down like sales 100%. Because some of this stuff, whether it's cost or like the complexity of it, people are like, oh, but I don't really know, and they have questions, and that's really the only way you can. Unless they bring you up one by one, and I don't recommend that.
And I mean, even those people, we get a lot of the community that call us and talk to us. But again, like you said, it's you can't really explain a lot of this stuff. Some people are going to
it's not tangible.
And so they want to see it in action, and they want to see why it works and how it works. So I think that it's going to be a good thing. I don't know if we've gone over the last part of the isolator.
No, we can do that real quick. You're good.
All right, cool. So this shows our multi-horn. So imagine this can go on the front or the back or both. So you can have 2 weight horns, front, middle, back, middle, or all 3. And then you can adjust where the horn is and the angle of the horn. So you can fine tune the exact resistance profile. You can use our pin to rest it on either direction. And then we also added our seat extension and back pad, as well as our support leg. So you can really turn this into a multi-use standalone unit that feels a lot better. Tune in your resistance profile. It has a counterweight on it, so you can counterweight it all.
So this is just a sleeve that pops off. And that's not on, is that part of the normal isolator? Is this the same, like?
So normally you would have this sleeve would go in the middle aligned with the upright. So when you buy this, when you buy this, you remove the center part and you slide the new head support on the outside.
That makes a lot more sense, because now it can go past the rack.
Cool. And so the idea is we have a pin that goes in. Imagine a pin up here that this rests on. So now you can start it resting on that pin, and the higher or lower you go, it changes the angle that it starts at.
Now, how do you remove the pin, or is the pin is just the end point?
You can put it in 2 places. You can either put it in your rack and it has UHMW on it. I don't know where it went. We had another part of the sleeve, but it rests on that UHMW portion, or you can put it in these holes. So imagine I put this back, it's on here. It could rest here, or if it's going the other direction and the other side, it rests here like that. So you can put it in the rack or in the arm itself.
And the different configurations for the weight horns, it can either come with, what was it, two arms, or?
So you can have.
So, and it's just this bracket here, or I'm looking at this.
And then we also made this removable. So if you wanted to use this on a jammer arm, normally what happens, most jammer arms, as you know, have their own weight horn. So if you were to slide this on a jammer arm and then put the handle on, the weight horn is going to be here, and it's not going to be able to work on either of these. So we made this removable. So if you slide this on a jammer arm, that weight horn comes out here. Now you can use that. And then you choose, do you want to use the front, the back, or both, or just the front and back, remove the middle. So it's the most modular weight arm. You can, like, I'm sure you know, but if you were to bring this up and click this one down, it totally changes the profile.
100%.
So
I didn't realize the first time, even just the fact, it's one thing just it's one thing just loading, having a different loading left to right, where based on where like the center arm is. Then you can change exactly in and out the front or back ones. Then I saw the angle and changing. I was like, it's holy crap.
You want to talk about geeking out? When we were at the factory, I spent 3 hours literally one click at a time. Click here, click here. Oh, wow, that felt different. Click here, click there. Like, it's a lot of fun, and that's why the pump by numbers is going to be cool. You'll have all pump by numbers on here, and you can follow somebody and go, oh, their leg extension setup is so cool. Or their leg curl setup is cool. So.
And when again is that going to be available, that pump?
So when we left, they had crashed the server and said they're putting it all on its own server. So hopefully when we get back, it's done.
Oh, like soon? Not we're not talking like months. We're talking about
it was supposed to be done.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully it's done when we get back, or very soon.
And it's a standalone app, or through your website, or what?
It'll be its own website where you basically like upload the videos, and then I approve each of them, and they just go live on the site.
Oh, so cool. So cool. That'll be awesome. Anything else while we're here that you can think of?
We have the high-low pulley.
Let's. This is another one that's available right now, from what I understand.
So a lot of people are like, hey, we already have this on our rack. We use it as a Smith machine. What else can it do? We'd love a cable system. So you can put this pulley in the hex ports, or you can run a 1-to-1 ratio. So 2-to-1, 1-to-1. And then one of the big things we wanted was a lot of people said they didn't have room to do a lot of the movements out of their rack.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of reinvent how we would use the pulleys, but we made it to where you can literally use this at any angle.
Oh, okay.
So this unit can pull from any direction that you want.
Yeah.
So you could stand, you could have a wall here and be able to get in your rack and be able to do this. So
that's pretty
the idea was, how do we make this as functional as possible with the smallest footprint as we could?
Yeah.
So you can put the weight horn in like this, or you can load the side weight arm and basically use it from there.
Wow. Now, can you still use the VTS as a VTS in this by just a couple removable things?
We made it to where this goes in the barbell latch like a barbell. So you wouldn't even have to change the latch. Imagine if I pop this out, I can end up sticking a barbell in there, remove this and pop that out, put a barbell back in there and use it.
Yeah.
I don't even have to remove the cables.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, this uses no hardware. This is a hand nut.
Oh, wow.
So I could unscrew this with one hand and pull this whole thing off if I wanted. So the idea was make it so that you can leave it on or remove it easily, and make it so that this attaches with the same size as a barbell, so you don't even have to change the latches at all.
Wow.
This was a few years ago. We dropped the folding GHD. People loved it, but I got carried away in different directions. So this is a GHD reverse hyper. So this, you can end up putting a weight horn through and you do a reverse hyper. This, you can pull a pin and put a forearm pad here and hold on, so you can remove this and put that on. Do reverse hyper with these vertical legs, or you can end up storing it away. And then it's on gas shocks that are perfectly balanced.
Oh my gosh.
So you don't have to do anything. If somebody wants to take this up, you can let go and it lifts up by itself.
Wow. That is cool.
So this unit, we now are gonna drop this with our folding PCD, but this will be at a lower price point than any GHD reverse hyper that I know of, and it has the ability to fold flat against your wall. So we'll sell it with a post that you can mount to your wall, or you can put it on your rack like this.
And when's this available?
We just hit the factory up on the way here when everyone asked me to bring it. I said get the pricing ready because I want to drop it. So hopefully in a few weeks when I go there, I can show the final sample and drop pre-sale.
Yeah, that's so cool. All right, well, thank you, Larry, so much for walking us through. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, everyone, if you're interested in some cool engineering, multifunctional products, Bulletproof is going to be the go-to for that, and hopefully we'll get some on the channel soon. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Yeah, thank you so much, Larry. I'm here with Adam from Rep Fitness. We're going to do a quick boot tour. First thing I notice here is something that I'm very interested in, Smith machines. Yeah. These used to not be cool, and now they're all the rage. And but you guys took your time and have a couple little spins of your own. So tell me a little bit about it. I see it's on an angle and on the front feet outside the rack, which is unusual.
Yeah, no, I mean, Smith Machine's making a comeback. You know, I think they got despised. Everybody hated them for a second. Now everybody loves them. So I love them. I use them. Like to do that kind of accessory, you know, bodybuilding stuff, good. But yeah, we have it mounted. These are our new updated front feet as well. This is essentially what like a standalone Smith Machine rack could look like. Like if you didn't want to use the rack for anything other than just a Smith Machine setup, this could be it. You could even go smaller with the cross members if you wanted to for the main portion of the rack. But
now this can go in the rack too.
For sure, it could go in the rack as well.
It sits on the, it's got a bracket on the top and a bracket on the bottom to kind of sit on the any cross members basically.
Yep, super easy. And then for the angled, it doesn't change anything about this. You get the same uprights for the Smith. You just have the little slotted hole, and you can go straight and up and down or at the angle like we have it here.
Now I have the mini front feet extensions with the Aries 2.0. I assume that'll work.
Yeah, with the mini feet though, they're not quite long enough to allow you to do the angle, but you could go straight up and down with it off these special Smith Machine upper brackets.
And do you include those brackets?
Yep. So if you have a Smith Machine and you need these, you'll get them. Yep, a little stubby, just kind of upper bracket for it to mount to on the front.
Nice.
And we'll have it for the 93 and the 80 as well. The height options.
So 2 different Smith Machine height options.
Yep.
Okay, that's huge because that's the biggest complaint about some of the other ones like Bells of Steel. I've tried, and there's been a handful of them that I've tried, is they make one size. And so then they have to size it for both their racks, the short one and the tall one.
You're not gonna, obviously, like it has its downsides with range of motion and things like that, but you know, you could still, like even myself, 6'2" ish, like I can do squats and stuff. Like I'm not doing pressing, but it still works.
And your locking system allows the other side then to that is the range of motion on like the bottom side.
Yeah,
Usually
you can get super low. Just the safeties easily just kind of flip out here.
Yeah.
So that's about as low as it'll go.
Yeah. Some of the other things I was playing around here yesterday with this, first off, like really solid feeling the bar. I mean, I'm even looking at the guide rods are definitely like a good 1/4 inch thicker than most of the other Smith machines I've used. The knurling itself, what is this? Like a 35, 34 millimeter bar?
Ooh, good question on the mills.
It's
I don't
definitely
remember off the
thick.
top of my head. It is thick as
Yeah.
most Smith machine bars are.
Yeah.
We're trying to match the knurling to our Colorado bar.
Okay.
So it'll feel familiar if you had that. It's good kind of medium,
Yeah.
aggressive knurl.
100%.
But yeah, I mean, we wanted to make sure this was as sturdy and smooth as possible. So, you know, super easy to move.
And talking about sturdy, I don't know if this was rubber, UHMW or something. That was something I noticed yesterday.
Yeah, so put a little composite thing here, sandwiched between the little metal brackets with the rep logo. So as you're going up and down, like, you know, bumping into the uppers.
That's awesome. Now, and because there's nothing, you know, you essentially have these integrated in line with the uprights, the little latches. I've seen some other ones where they like stick out and they can like, if you're doing like some sort of press, depending on the width of the rack, they can kind of like nick your elbows and stuff.
Yep.
So, no,
the other reason for that too is we're coming out with future attachments as well that would essentially hook into here and then onto your upright.
Yeah.
So that way, if you did have it mount, if you had like a long 41-inch cross member or something, and you had your Smith machine inside of your rack, you could still have safeties and things like that. Maybe other attachments that are actually hooking onto the Smith and then onto the upright.
Yeah. Now, the other question I have, so it's adjustable, obviously like angles and different rack height options. I'm assuming the width is fixed for your 41 interior, 47 exterior rack.
Yeah. I mean, you could maybe put the Smith on like if you had a narrower rack, but why would you want to?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm thinking
Since the uprights are independent of each other.
I'm thinking people, the big thing right now is like, oh, I have a Rogue rack, but they don't make Smith machines, and I want to put a Smith machine on there, and that's a wider rack, and so
tough for us to say it would work on any other competitor's rack.
And you're not designing it for that. But my job as one of the tinkerers reviewers is to try to.
Somebody will figure it out. That's the home gym community will make it happen.
Yeah, 100%.
If there's a will, there's a way, and someone will do it.
Yeah, cool. And do you know? So I know this is not yet available. At least the last I checked, I'm signed up for emails too. Haven't gotten the email that is available. Do you know general timing?
General end of the year, October, November, December time, somewhere around there. Still tweaking with it. We want to make sure that we're thinking through all the configurations, attachments, different cross member lengths, cable lengths, so it works better with the Aries 2.0, maybe like in the back portion, so you can still leave the front open. There's a lot that goes into it. It's kind of going to be, we're going to have to really educate the customer on, hey guys, like here's all the configurations you can do. Here's all the things that you can, get creative and make it the best setup for your gym.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I want to actually slide over here to some of the dumbbells. Sure. I've actually done reviews of the Rep and Pep and Fast series. I know you guys just recently released some of the cart storage options though.
Yeah, we had the cart first. So, I mean, here's the carts, right? Fixed height, pretty simple. Really, it's not necessarily specific for dumbbell storage. Obviously, it works great for dumbbell storage, but it's more than that and store everything else.
Yep.
And then the stands came out later. So we got 2 stands here. This one, so you got 3 height options with the stands. This one's set to the lowest setting.
Okay. Yep.
This one's set to the highest setting.
Okay, got it.
And then you can imagine one kind of somewhere in between. Yep. Obviously got the little toaster here.
Yep.
For the change plates.
It looks sleek though, yeah.
Extra slots for the 1.25 outer weights, so you can make 2.5-pound jumps, which are coming later.
I was gonna say those are not out yet though. The 1.25 outer.
They're not.
Okay. Yep.
And then with the casters, it's super easy to
just slide it around. Yeah.
Kick them off.
Yeah. Neat.
Wheel around.
Cool. I know these are a pretty hot option to the Rep and Pep and dumbbells.
Yep.
So I know I won't do too much about that because I've done a ton on my channel and I know there's a lot of other content about that.
Yeah, the stands are fairly new, but people are catching on.
Oh, for sure. Now, as far as racks and stuff, I don't think you guys have any new stuff like in the works. I mean, you recently in the last 2 years when you redid, or not redid, but like, you kind of revamped a whole lot of stuff. Aries 2.0, Udonis. The new, is it Arcadia or Acadia Max?
Arcadia Max.
Okay, Arcadia.
Yeah. And we had the smaller on the Arcadia as
Yep.
well. So
So now
The
that is the Max though, right?
that's the Max. Yeah, that's
It
the
looks
big
big.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big boy.
That's why. I asked.
We left the little brother at home.
Yeah.
And he was being a little ornery, so you know, put him in timeout. But
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know.
for sure.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I particularly wanted to move over to. There's a couple other things here that I was interested in.
Yeah. Yes. Talking of rack attachments.
Yeah. Yep. This is. Do you guys have a name for this? This configuration by the way?
It's just the wall mount Aries 2.0.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yep.
really nothing changes with the Aries 2.0.
But this little wing is something you guys sell and everything here too.
It's gonna be, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's
Yep.
part of the wall mount kit.
Ah,
So
okay,
what
yep.
this is, it's just a repackaging
Yep.
of the Aries 2.0.
Yep.
So you still have the lat pull down, 2 termination point, low row.
Oh, I see.
And
An extended pull-up bar though. That's
yep, functional
different.
trainer on the side.
Yep.
So then the pull-up bar brackets. So with the 4-post configuration and the wall mount,
Yep.
because of the lat pull down bar brackets, you lose your pull-up bar.
Yep. Yep.
So we developed these custom pull-up bar brackets
Yep.
that extend far enough, so I have plenty of room.
Yeah.
Get the bar out without necessarily hitting the pull-up bar.
Yeah.
And I can still do my pull-ups here too.
Yeah. Cool. And is this available now too?
The pull-up bar brackets are ASAP. They're
Okay.
coming out soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
But yeah, just the repackaging for the Aries. Got the wings out to the side, pegboards, front-facing late horns.
And will the pegboards come with the attachment too?
Those will be an optional add-on.
Okay.
So you could get the wings as an option as well.
Yep.
You could just get the wall mount kit and just have it wall mounted.
And then the little tabs and storage things are all probably part of the pegboard or like options with
The lat bar hangers, don't quote me on this. This is me guessing, I think. The lat bar hangers are going to be included if you buy the pegboard.
Okay.
But that could potentially be an add-on.
Yep.
But we wanted to give people options. Like if they didn't need the storage for some reason, they got storage otherwise, they could just mount it to the wall.
Yep.
If they need all the storage, then you get the storage
Yep.
as well.
Yeah.
And so you get all this, and it's about 22 inches from the wall
Yep.
to the front.
Yeah. No, I have the 4-post Aries 2.0 that we did a review on. It's so compact.
Yeah.
Like what you
This,
get.
this is like
Okay.
about half of even that.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah.
pretty crazy. So cool stuff. Then the other thing I actually just kicked on my way here is probably what a lot of people are interested into. This one is still also not yet available, right?
Oh yeah, so kind of the same time frame as the Smith, towards
Okay.
October, November, December area, the end of the year.
Are you guys calling this just the leg extension curl bench attachment?
You know, I'm not sure. We might come up with a fancy name in line with some of the other names
Yeah,
we got.
something about-
but Nighthawk, Blackwing.
Exactly. Some sort of bird or
you know,
military style.
for some sort of Greek or Roman thing, whatever. So yeah.
So I've seen these online in photos, but looking at them in person, it looks a lot cleaner and neater.
Yep.
So it's plate loaded. A couple things. Again, forgive me. I've not looked into depth into this.
No worries. It's the first time, like,
Yeah,
it's only the second time people are seeing it. We took it to FIBO.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's here. So this is the same unit as well we had there.
So real quick with this,
Yep.
this obviously a bench attached leg extension leg curl. It works on this Nighthawk and then also the Blackwing.
Yeah,
right?
it has the spine receiver, so a little lockout pin on the side.
Yep.
So it just needs a spine receiver. So it just takes this little attachment with the 2 nugs and the pin.
All right. So will you sell this receiver separately too, or is you? I'm assuming.
It's specific to the bench. So because the benches are slightly different, the angle changes a little bit. So this is specific to the Nighthawk, and Blackwing will have its own.
Okay.
So when you purchase the leg extension leg curl, it'll come with you'll need to select the bench you have, and then it'll come with a specific bracket for that bench.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So the angle of the bench at which it mounts to this basically changes. So that
Yeah, the back pad length's different. You know, there's a ton of things that are different between the benches.
Okay.
So it could just be the
See, I
same
never
bracket.
knew that, but that makes a lot of sense then. So, and it's a pop pin, or how does it lock in?
So this pin is a little like lockout,
Like a little spring
yeah,
loaded
so
something.
I can pull the pin out and just twist it, and now it locks out.
Yep.
And then with this, just goes right down into it,
Cool.
and then I just can twist that pin back.
All right. I know how that goes. So then you were talking about different angles and stuff. Do these pads adjust angles then too, if the bench is different, or are they fixed?
No, they're fixed.
Okay.
Yep.
But you've obviously done your R&D to where it probably works with either bench in a comfortable, fashion kind of thing.
Correct.
So this plate loaded horn, it is plate loaded and cable
And
option cable.
band resistance as well. If I had a band, I could show you real quick. But there's little peg up here. This has a roller on it, so the band will go under here, and then this is a roller as well. So the band can come under here, so you get that accommodating resistance.
Yep.
We know, like, when you're doing hamstring curl, leg extension, it gets a little easier towards the top.
Yep.
So that band's obviously adding weight as it's stretching.
Yep.
So it helps with that strength curve a little bit.
Okay.
If you don't have a cable machine.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
we really wanted to make sure, like, at a base level, pretty much everybody's got plates.
Yeah.
Right. So you could have a plate loaded option that's solid. You could add bands to it if you want to add more of that accommodating resistance.
Yeah, 100%.
And then if you have a cable machine or some sort of any weight stack thing, then you have the cable option as well.
All right. So, also we're gonna move this down a little bit.
Yep.
All right, I like the angle.
Yeah, so I got the little cam there, so
Yeah.
strength curve feels good.
Okay, so the cam is literally okay. So it wraps around the bottom of the
Yeah, just right there on the end.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean for a bench attachment. So I was actually years ago. I put the Bolt Fitness was one of the first bench attached leg extension leg curl attachments that I saw, and I put it on AB 5000.
Yeah.
It worked. I had to drill a hole in the tubing and to get it all to line up and everything.
Home gym DIY. Yep.
And then years later, you guys are doing this. Some other people are doing this.
Yeah.
So it's for sure cool to see.
Yeah.
But the angle, the big thing for me has always been the angle, both of the attachment and the pads.
Yeah,
So okay, can I? Which end do you
Yeah.
disconnect it from? Do you just?
Well, yeah, so we got a little tension on it. So because there's wheels on the front,
Just kind of scoot it.
yeah, I could
Yeah.
just scoot it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then
Have you tried wheeling this thing across a gym? We could wheel.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
I definitely won't make it move around, but I'll trust you there.
Yeah. So we have a manual cable option, then we got a couple tricks coming as well. For everything's going to be bolt on. So obviously this is a little manual cable option, but we got something else too.
Maybe a retractable cable option. You don't have to speak on that, but who knows? Who knows?
But just can roll this up.
Yep. So what is that pin right there?
So
I saw that earlier.
That's just what the cable attaches to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So the cable.
Oh,
that out.
That's
One end of the cable goes through there.
I didn't know when I was looking at it first. I didn't know if like the horns just came off somehow.
But now, yeah, you can pick it up and wheel it.
Cool. I trust you on the wheel. Okay, I guess I'll do it now. That's hilarious, but it seems so like simple. You're like, oh, you wouldn't want that, but seriously, if you're attaching to a cable system, because I've done it before with benches, and you have to like slide it all back on your rubber mats or stall mats, and went too far, not far enough.
Yeah, you guys so just shimmy it back and forth, but yeah. So with the wheels, hopefully, you can put it nice and close, attach your cables up, and then wheel it back. Cool. And you're good to go.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see the plate loaded, so I can see. Oh, this is slippery. I can see like you guys have it for the plates. You already have like the lever arm kind of out already at an angle, so you get like resistance obviously.
Yeah, and it's tough to find the balance of plate loaded too between the leg extension and the leg curl.
Yeah. No, but it tapers off at the top, nice for leg extension.
Yep.
Because I've seen that in some of these to where it's like you said, it's really hard. It's all compromises. You can never make it as good as like a standalone machine that's cable driven and stuff like that. It's a bench attached.
Try to find the best of both worlds best you can.
Yeah, so you either make like no resistance at the bottom, or the resistance curve's even, or some other compromise.
Yeah.
So no, but I mean,
this man understands it. This man, they're gonna start it. So okay, there's the engineering mind.
Yeah. So I know people are always like, well, why can't you make it this and that? It's like there's always like trade-offs. It's like price, packaging, you need footprint, you name it.
Yeah.
So anyways, no, it feels great. But so thanks for showing this to me. And then again, this one's later this year, alongside the Smith machine, some other tracks like that.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So the Strive line.
Yes.
I see the treadmill here, which talk about. What about the other ones? You guys have a rower and a bike. Anything else?
Yeah. First will be treadmill, bike.
Okay.
And then other machines coming out after that.
Okay.
Yep.
And then they're all are they magnetic resistance, right?
So I'll let Brian speak a little bit more on. The treadmill is cardio is a whole new ball game. All right, I'm a strength equipment guy.
Yeah.
I know that pretty well.
There's bearings and stuff.
They,
I don't know.
we are doing a unique thing with the treadmill with the resistance. We're trying to make the resistance go basically higher than anything out there.
Yeah.
And the thing with a lot of sled treadmill type things is the sled's never truly decoupled from the run.
Yeah.
Right. So we have a little system to completely decouple the resistance from the run, so you get a true free run.
Yeah.
And then you can obviously engage that sled and crank up a ton of resistance on that top end.
Yeah.
And even keep it on the low end for long push or walks and things like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now Brian is going to walk me through what I was interested in, which is this treadmill. What is the name of this one again?
The Strive Series,
Strive Series, Strive Cardio Line,
Strive Series,
something like that.
Strive Series treadmill?
Yeah.
Okay.
The big thing I notice here, obviously it is a manual treadmill, but I see this little notch knob thing here, which implies that it's some sort of resistance.
Yeah.
What kind of resistance? Air resistance, magnetic resistance?
Magnetic resistance. Yeah. So right now it's in the run mode, which has a clutch.
You mind if I hop on?
Yeah, go for it.
Too? Yeah.
Yeah. So right now there's no resistance. We completely decouple the resistance engine from the treadmill. So now it runs just like any other free runner.
I have a True Form trainer in the studio for review right now. I've had an Assault runner. Feels the deck actually feels really nice and cushioned too. I don't know if it's the slats. So
it could be. We use a little different material in the slats, I think.
It's comfortable. So this is just traditional, normal, manual treadmill.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed is it's actually pretty easy to, like, if I were to just like dip into it and start jogging, it's like really easy to get going. So
and we can make that easier. We have an adjustable angle on the deck here. So we can go from like True Form and Assault. I think they use different angles.
Yep. Well, the True Form is a little bit, it's harder because they don't, it's not meant for like sprinting as much.
So they're more flat, and then Assault has kind of got an angle.
That's why I noticed like this, if I just tip my torso a little bit, I can sprint
so
fast.
We give you the option to pick whichever one you want. Right now, I think it's in the True Form. If we drop this down, now it's more like an Assault.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. So then, like, for also people who don't use this, it's funny because I'll have people come, let me check that out, and they're like, whoa, and you know, it kind of keeps them when it's lower in the back. It keeps them from doing that a little.
Yeah, I think it's better for like walking and jogging, like when it's more level.
Yeah, interesting. So, and then with this, I assume this is a little unlocking.
Yeah.
Press the button.
We have to stop the belt first for the prototype.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And then you push the button and pull it back until it clicks and the button pops out. Now we're in resistance mode. Now you don't push the button at all. You just move it back and forth.
Okay.
So this is like walking up.
There it is.
It's like walking up a hill.
How do you know which one it is?
So you've got level 1 here, and you can also notice there's like one plate on the sled, and if you go all the way back to 8, the sled loads up with a bunch of plates.
Let's start with 1, and I want to see what that's like here. So in the production model, do you always have to stop before you lock it in?
We're targeting like that you don't have to stop, but for now we have to stop because it's prototype.
Yeah. So okay, so I'm gonna see what one is like. Okay. I like that distance counter down here too.
Yeah, so it's really helpful once you get into sled mode.
Yeah, because
you'll be able to grab down here and put your head between, and you don't have to look up to see like when it's time to change your interval.
Yeah, 100%.
So no button push, and then just pull it straight back.
Okay. So the button's only for the lock into
it's to engage and disengage the clutch.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, there we go. All right. These are very like comfortable positionings for the handles and stuff too.
Yeah, we worked quite a bit on trying to get the right positions and as many positions as we could.
I crank it down to 7. You can go all the way to 8. Wow.
And 8 we're targeting like a 400-pound sled push. So if you put your hands down,
I'm not a sled.
And put your shoulders up into the flat pads here,
like this.
There you go.
There. Wow.
So it should be more than like a high rocks sled push.
Yeah, and that's what people are training right now. So cool. The other Strive series,
Yeah.
What it's a rower, a bike, and
So we have the bike and the treadmill right now, and then we're targeting to do a rower and the ski erg next year.
okay.
The bike was supposed to be here, but half of the parts, didn't make it, so we couldn't show it.
Okay.
But it has the VPR, the variable pitch resistance engine.
Magnetic as well.
No, it's air, so it's got the
Oh,
fan blades like a helicopter, so they turn and you can go, higher force than the competition or higher resistance, and then they'll go parallel,
Yep.
and it'll be like it being on an IC bike where you can just
Yeah.
kind of relax and
All right.
keep your legs moving.
Now, what's the time frame for this and the bike? Do you know?
Both of them we're targeting November, December this year.
Oh, okay. So that's soon.
Yeah.
Do you know general price point for like this?
This one is we're targeting $3,000 to $3,500.
Honestly, I thought it'd be more. To be quite honest.
We hear that quite a bit.
Yeah. I was gonna ballpark like 4 or 5 at a minimum.
So yeah, we hear that a bit.
I think that answers all my questions. Cool. So yeah, thanks so much, Brian. Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. So I'm here with Brian from GetRx. We're at the GetRx booth. And first thing I saw here, obviously I have one of these in the studio, the RX3 Tornado 94-inch rack, right? But what caught my eye I don't yet have and I'm interested in is this center post and some of these attachments. So I'll let you tell me a little bit about these.
Yeah, so we're coming out with a lot of new exciting attachments for our RX3 and Tornado Rack ecosystem. What Michael is talking about here, this is called our military bench. So it's a basically multi-use bench. Right now, it has the Optimus leg roller in it. So you can basically sit down, hold, and have the leg hold down so you can basically do lat pull downs. There's also a back pad attachment that's adjustable as well. So you basically just take this out, I can show you later on, and replace it with the back pad and use it for like seated flies and curls and things of that nature.
And real quick, so I see this is not attached. So the frame itself, this little 3x3 frame that's on the ground, what is that called?
That's called the military bench frame.
Okay, so it is a
Yeah.
military bench frame.
And then this is
So I see it's not rack attached.
It's not rack
But on the other side, and I know we'll get there in a second, I see a center mount rack attached thing.
That's correct. Yep,
So
yep.
we'll get there in a second. But this has a handle, it's got wheels, so you can store it outside, right? Pick it up. And obviously it's set up for lat pull downs. You get in and do your lat pull downs.
That's right.
Cool.
And it does have a handle and wheels. And then sometimes if you feel like you need to weigh it down or anchor it down a little bit, we do have these optional class plate sleeves here, so you can stack some 45s or whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of weigh it down a little bit, give you a little bit more stability.
Are you also selling those as an option for just like weight storage too? Do you know?
I believe we are, yes.
Okay, because that makes it super efficient, and rather than screw in weight horns, you can move and adjust
For sure.
the weight.
Yeah,
as
I agree.
needed, so pretty cool.
Yep. And then moving around to the next attachment over
take me
here.
to this center post. So there's two things here. There's another knee pad type thing with the plate, which I'll let you talk about.
Yep.
But then also the center post. So yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah, so this is our center post attachment. So for example, if you kind of don't have the space for like a freestanding extra bench for lat pull downs and stuff like that, you can go with the center post attachment. So it extends out to the center of the rack where the Tornado arms would generally meet for lat pull downs. And we have our low row lat pull pad on it right now. So this acts as both a leg holder for low rows. There's the pads here, and you can adjust the angles to adjust the angle of the pad and use it to brace your feet for low rows or seated rows as well.
So this plate on the front is fixed then, right? Okay,
Correct.
It's just fixed, and then it'll be on the top when you're in the leg or the knee holder for lat pull downs, and then when you move it all the way down, it's facing out, and that'll be the
Correct.
low roll lat pull. And then I assume these little lightly knurled knobs come with this to attach to the rack.
They do, yes.
Okay.
So the pins that actually go through the upright, they're threaded.
Okay.
And then you just basically screw these on to secure everything.
And hypothetically then, the cool thing about these attachments, and I guess 3x3 in general, these will fit on pretty much any rack. Maybe, if someone has a different kind of rack and they still want some of the attachments, they're able to do that too.
And this isn't just limited to this pad right here. The Optimus seat that we saw on the military bench over there, and also the Optimus back pad that we'll get to in a second are both compatible with the center attachment as well.
Yeah.
So this isn't only for lat pull downs and low rows. You could put the seat on here, you could put the back pad on here, and also use it for flies, seated curls, things like that as well.
Is this just one
Chest supported rows, stuff like
one hitch pin, magnetic pin here?
There's holes for 2. We have one
Oh, it
there
goes
right
this way.
now.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. So there's a center and then like a cross
Yeah.
section.
So there's
Okay.
exactly.
Yep, that makes sense.
So there's a pin that's attached to this attachment itself.
Yep.
And there's a securing magnetic pin that goes in that way.
Okay. And again, so just to clarify, basically you have like 2 different base options, if you want to call it that. You can do the center post or the military bench frame, and then add on the attachments from there.
That's a really good way, a really good, clear way of putting it. Yeah. So we have basically 2 bases, the center and the military, and there's an array of different attachments that you can attach to. Pretty much both.
Yeah. And I've been really liking all of your like rack mounted attachments and everything. Like storage is a huge thing that I did when I did the review of the Street Tornado. I was like, man, you can put dumbbell racks in here. So like you guys have a good line of like attachments coming out, which I really appreciate. And you can like, and then plus the arms, you know, all these things, the center mounting, the storage, it's like you can get a lot in a small footprint. And that's one of the things I've a huge advocate for. And despite reviewing other racks and other products like the Tornado arms that by themselves kind of change the game, these attachments are going to make things a lot more helpful as well. And I think it's cool because then other companies will follow too, which I'm personally happy about. Maybe you guys not so much. For sure. I'm happy because then it drives more innovation and competition and all that kind of stuff.
Well, we're definitely a very innovative company, and I'm happy that we're leading the way on this. This is really only the beginning. I talked with our team, and we definitely have a lot more exciting things coming for our RX3 and Tornado rack system.
Cool. So now moving over here, is this something you guys already offer, or is this new?
Not yet.
I'm not familiar with
So
this.
we wanted to bring this to kind of give everybody a kind of a sneak peek. But we'll call this our Nexus arm. So it moves very similarly to a landmine in that it can rotate side to side and up and down. And you can use pins to lock in and kind of stop it at a certain point. So it'd be sold, the attachment itself will only be an arm. Right now, it has
meaning just like the tube.
Correct.
It'll come with this, it'll come with the tube, but not, this is like probably the belt squat attachment or something.
So the base of it will be the arm, and there's gonna be different attachments to it. Right now we have the belt squat attachment on it with the kickstand. Some other things that we're gonna have, we'll have a chest pad, so you can basically convert it to like a Pritchett pad. And we're coming out with a linebacker squat attachment for it.
Got it.
And like a bicep, creature curl attachment for it as well.
So it's either just like a lockable or free moving lever that you can kind of do whatever you want with. Anywhere up and down the upright. So cool.
So we're basically coming out with new innovative things, trying to make it multifunctional so you can get the most out of your rack in your home gym.
Now, the other thing I wanted to take a look at that I'm not super familiar with is this single stack. Is this something you guys offer as well? Or is this...
So this is basically our RX3 3000 cable tower. We brought with us the plate loaded version. We do also offer a weight stack version with a 200-pound weight stack. So it uses the same RX3 uprights. As you can see, this one does not have the Tornado arms. It has a dual pulley here. So with this one, you can either have the option of a 1-to-1 weight ratio or 2-to-1.
Depending on if you connect them here via the middle, I'm guessing.
Exactly. So if you connect them or if you pull both handles at the same time, you get the full 1-to-1 ratio. If you're only using one handle, you'll get the 2-to-1 ratio, which is basically half of what you have loaded up.
Cool. And then the fact, obviously, it's 3x3 means you can add any of your attachments and stuff like that as well. But you guys have a low roll footplate built in.
So right now we have the lat pull down seat attached to it and the low roll footplate. Both of these are not bolt in, so they're easily removable. If you want to come over here on this side, you can see that both of them just attach with just two pins. So it's easy on and off depending on what extra.
Now, are these magnetic pins? Do you guys sell those too separately?
Honestly, I don't.
Check the website.
TBD. Contact sales at getrx.com and we'll tell you.
All right. So now, besides the let's say the strength equipment here, power rack stuff, is there anything in the works that you guys can share, or are you guys mostly focusing on the attachment line as your big, rack strength things next? Or
so basically, we are. The Tornado rack is our most popular selling item right now. So we're putting a lot of focus on that and innovating new attachments to make it more functional and stuff like that.
And sorry to interrupt you. Now you can buy the arms separately because that's a big thing for people. So that wasn't always available, but recently you can then purchase them.
People are getting creative with that.
Obviously they're great in the current configuration, but cool that people have access to be able to buy them separate. So nice.
So other than more exciting, innovative attachments for the Tornado rack, we're working on some other exciting things. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you've seen it, but people have seen at one of our other international trade shows a tornado arm tower, a single tower.
Oh, okay.
So
kind of like this, but with tornado arm?
yeah, that
Okay.
could,
Yeah.
it's probably in the works. And
And is it a single arm or dual arm?
it's dual arm.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
figured. That.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's also going to be some newer functional trainer options that I really can't disclose much info on yet.
Course.
We're going to have a new GHD kind of reverse hyper combo that we're kind of working on and stuff like that. But that's pretty much all I can say for now.
Yeah, no, you're good. But again, you guys have put a ton of work into the rack attached ecosystem from the arms to the Smith and everything. So, all right, cool. Well, thanks so much for taking us through quickly, and we appreciate it. And
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm here at Bolt Fitness Supply, and we're going to take a look at some of their products here at HomeGymCon. Unfortunately, they have so many products that I literally cannot keep track of all the names, but we're actually going to start here with one I am very familiar with, and was actually the launch to my channel, was their leg extension, leg curl attachment. It looks a little bit different potentially than when I reviewed it, but this is a perfect bench attachment that you can add to any bench with that. I think it's a 2x2 or 2 1/4 tubing, and you can do your leg extension, leg curls on. They have a couple other products in here. Bolt Fitness has a bunch of different specialties. So this is one of their lat towers, 3x3. They do some really cool stuff. Honestly, I'd like to see more from Bolt Fitness just in general. They have so many different things, from 3x3 racks. As you can see, there's a lat attachment on one side. It's kind of built into a rig. On this side, they have the single stack functional trainer that can move up and down the uprights. So I've reviewed in the past some of their Smith machines for their 3x3 ecosystem. Actually, in the back here, you'll actually see the 3x3 Smith machine built in here with the leg press plate. That's one of the ones we've reviewed on the channel. So bunch of different options from Bolt Fitness Supply, and honestly, there's probably too many goodies for me to even notice. So again, the single stack functional trainer. And all of these attachments are, again, for their 3x3 racks. Since it's modular, you can kind of do whatever you want. Actually, turning around here, we're gonna walk to their 3x3 system functional trainers. Unfortunately, again, I do not know what this is called, and I apologize. I'm not an expert on all Bolt Fitness products, but this is one of their all-in-one functional trainer power racks. This thing is pretty beefy. I don't know that I've seen this exact one before. Dual weight stacks, what are we at? Looks like 270 pounds? 280? Wow. It literally does not even have a number, so I don't even know. And a counterbalance Smith machine. Oh my goodness, right here actually in the bottom corner, this is the counterbalance for the cable, which looks like it's attached up at the top of the Smith machine up here. Wow, that is cool. I need to check that out. Whoa, it just floats. I know what I'm doing, and I'm definitely allowed to be here. So dual stack functional trainer. It's a little sticky. Nice, and a nice tall pull-up bar. Wow, this is what I like in pull-up bars. This is me, 6'2", on my tippy toes, knurled. 408. Cool. All right, so I see a leg press plate for their bar, or for their Smith machine. I see all sorts of attachment storage, lat pull down. Low row foot plate for low rows when you move this all the way to the bottom position. So looks like very functional there. We're gonna come over, maybe we'll look at the hack squat and leg press less, but we'll come over here to actually their new set of dumbbells. We'll come over to their new set of dumbbells. These are very similar to the new Obels. They actually were supposed to send me one for review, and I don't know what happens to that. But simple locking mechanism where you twist the handle, pick the weight you want, pick it out. There's 25 pounds. And when you're done, You can go from 25. Let's see what the max is on this guy. 91 pounds. And when you're done, put it back in the cradle. My forearm's not made for this. 8 pounds in the lightest, so 8 to 91. Kind of like Newell bells, so interested, check those out. I don't remember the name offhand. Let's go ahead and walk this way. This is one I am super interested in. Oh, hey, sorry. Am I right? Am I?
Stole my machine.
My bad.
I was waiting in line.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My bad. So this is one I've been really interested in. I think this is their Storm Series Hydra, which I've been, okay, right off the bat, articulating knee pad, sick. This is one I get asked about a lot because I've reviewed the Titan leg extension leg curl. Whoa. Okay, okay. Gonna find the back seat here. We're gonna do a kind of live first impressions. I can find the latching mechanism. Okay. We're on to something. Wow. Okay, these handles, we're very much on something. Actually, I don't need those for leg extension, so don't know what I'm doing there. All right, let's see what we got. A lot of different angle adjustments. As you come over to this side, you actually see all the different angle adjustments. There's a million all the way around. There's literally like 30 of them for the leg press plate. I think you could probably see it on the other side too, or just the amount of. Okay, we need to adjust the, for sure need to adjust this up. There. There we go. Okay. Now the real question here, leg curls. Okay, let's try this out. This is always the challenge. Oh my gosh, there are so many adjustments on this thing. This is my first time using it. Okay, I really like this idea of this pad though. Okay, that's golden. Both just the handle location and the fact this pad moves. Wow, that feels really good. That's been my biggest complaint about every leg curl is either one, there's just a straight pad across your knees and a roller, and then two, the handles are awkwardly placed or it's not comfortable. But this, you can get it right to the point you want. The seat adjusts back and forth, and you can kind of press on this. Wow, that feels really good from just an ergonomic standpoint. Fantastic. Not bad. I need to get this in for review. Definitely need to do that. All right, all yours. So this is one of their few options for leg extension, leg curls. Hack squat, hack squat. This is one of their few options for hack squat leg press. Does it have a lock? Am I just weak? Don't answer that question. Poppin'? Unthread? What is happening? All right, well, apparently shouldn't be able to review gym equipment because I don't know how to. Am I tripping? There's no way this is locked in here, right? No shot. Well, I quit my job because I can't figure out how to take a plate off here. Wow. I feel inadequate, unqualified. There's literally 3 things on here. Oh my gosh, are you joking? Of course, they have a little notch / latching mechanism so that when it was sitting down, it's locked underneath that. Mama raised a smart boy. Oh, so this one's the opposite. Feels pretty good. All right. I like the adjustable foot plate. All right. Now I'm a big fan, as you saw in the Temple of Gains video, I'm also a big fan of the rowing machines. So this is a chest supported row. I think Nautilus has a machine just like this. A little diverging to converging. The handles are free rotating, which actually feels really nice. Honestly, the plane of motion in that is really nice. They make some really nice equipment at Bolt Fitness. I honestly, again, Bolt Fitness makes some really nice equipment. Again, they primarily service like commercial type gyms, but they also do direct residential stuff as well. I would love to get to try and utilize more of their equipment, but they have a lot of options, so feel free to go check their website on everything they offer. 3x3s, standalone machines, you name it, a lot of different price choices. Check out Bolt Fitness. I'm here with Tyler from PRX. He's gonna walk me through the PRX booth. I actually just saw this out of the corner of my eye, and a couple new things. I see the PRX dialed motion retractors, so maybe we'll go on here and maybe start here. Yeah, tell me about what this is.
Well, first, I mean, before we even dive into the equipment, I think one of the coolest things about this story is last year at HomeGymCon, we connected with the dialed motion guys.
Oh, really? Yeah.
We saw their gear, you know, they were close to us, and it just, the whole idea started sparking there. So to be able to get it across the finish line and then really showcase it here this year has been fun to do.
Yep.
You know, we love working with James and Lee. They got a pretty premium product, and we mated it up with our best-selling premium product, the Profile Pro Squat Rack.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty stoked about it. It's, you know, a wall-mounted functional trainer that can fold is unique, and of course it's on brand for us. So
I think I just saw Gluck's review of this exactly.
Yeah, awesome.
And I've actually done a review of the past. Not this. What are you guys calling this, by the way?
So this is just the like cable arm, which is a little bit different from their Sidewinder unit because we couldn't add, or we didn't want to add any extra ceiling height because a lot of our customers, even my rack, right, it folds within like 1/4 inch of the ceiling. So you know, we had to be mindful of that.
Yep.
It's welded through with a bolt back there, so it connects the pull-up bar. It's quite seamless. And
no, they're fantastic. They're very smooth. So are they doing the manufacturing for you guys, or how?
So we have all the retractor units coming in, and then they designed this. We're able to manufacture this plate.
And the reason I noticed is because I've actually reviewed their Ibex kits, and I was very impressed with like the quality of like the materials they were sourcing for the pulleys, for just everything, the carabiners, the cables. So I could tell some of these still were, you know, they're.
Well, we certainly leaned on them for that half of the partnership. Awesome. I mean, their fit and finish is incredible, and you know, they know the pulley space. They're kind of the, you know, heroes in that, and we kind of were like, hey, take our rack, and this is what we'd like to do with it. And yeah, we got there. It's exciting.
Yeah,
fun product.
Now, what's this? I don't know that I'm familiar with this. Is this a new product or one you've had for a while? I see it's a leg extension.
It's newer-ish, and
cable driven. I'm assuming probably attaches on the back here.
Yep. So that is once we knew before the dialed motion. Functional trainer was a plate. This was already on its own. Like you could attach just a weight horn here.
Yep.
So a lot of our customers were looking for leg extension.
Yep.
And it's actually a separate piece. So then you have your access pad, which can be a seat for. You know, you can turn it
lat
creatures,
seat.
Lat seat.
Exactly.
You can go down low and use it for a hip thrust. So
it is an angle pad
actually.
Okay. Oh, so it's just like an additional.
Yeah, this is an additional. So everything kind of runs through the access pad, and then obviously there's space for the cable. So now that we have the functional trainer set up, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's right now.
And that's the cool thing about these down motion cable trolleys is you can extend them and then lock them in.
Yep.
And now you can do things like that.
So the way it's set up now would be, yeah, and we've modified this slightly so you could sit, perform reps right here.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing like a seated low row or seated lat pull, you could take the retractor off and go all the way over the rack and then hook it
Oh,
weights
so it's not
over
in the way?
here. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's not necessarily in the way, but hop on, try it.
Yeah.
If it, the knee keeper kind of keeps you forward.
Yeah. Oh, you're good. Oh, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's a little.
Cable driven stuff is nice. That's not hitting me, so we're good.
Me too.
Now it does not do leg curls, just
You
just
can do a single leg curl.
oh, like
just
a
kind of
standing?
standing.
Okay.
Yep, single leg.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
so then like for a leg curl, you could just kind
Just standing. Yep.
of pop in.
100%.
Obviously a little heavy there
Yep.
for that, but
Awesome. I just love to see, how companies and build onto like, an existing ecosystem
Yeah.
or a thought even,
Yeah.
stuff like, oh, the down motion retractor, now we can attach a cable to this because of, the pros of that. Or like you were saying, this, lat seat chest support pad, you can put some handles on there and we can attach some other brackets and
Right.
stuff, and now we're doing leg extension.
Right.
So that's awesome to see for sure.
yeah, I mean, we've learned a couple things over the last couple of years is that, our customers have a big appetite for pulley systems and then they want the attachments, they want the ecosystem. And we've seen, all brands are kind of moving that direction. So to be able to offer, a really kind of home-based rack and then have all the attachments to support it to create that ecosystem is really, I think that's where the community's headed. It's already there, but we're really expanding on ours as well. So it's been fun.
Yeah, cool. Now, I see a couple other racks here.
Yeah.
What are they all the same? Sir. What is the official line for your 3x3 5/8 racks?
Sure. So yeah, so everything wall mounted would be profile. So you have like profile pro rack, profile folding full cage, which has been a super popular rack. Because you have it set up a little bit, but we could certainly fold it.
Yeah.
And then everything freestanding, like the half rack and the full cage here, is our build limitless line.
Okay.
So
Now,
it's
that one's a new one. I haven't seen that.
Yep.
The build limitless line for the cage here, is that new as well?
it's new. It's not. I would say the attachments are a lot newer than, the actual cage and system itself, right? We've launched Build Limitless for a couple of years, but it's taken us a little time to perfect it. And we think that the line really comes alive due to the attachments. The rack is 3x3 6 posts, the half rack. Everyone's offering a fairly similar product there. I think the differentiators are the attachments, some of the functional trainers. So
So I definitely want to ask about this one then, because this is a pretty narrow profile. But it's got the functional trainer and everything built into it.
Sure. Let's here, we can swing around to the front side. You're very crafty sliding through there. That was
dual functional trainer trolley.
Yep. So then we have
This is available or not available yet?
available.
Okay.
We have handful of units. I mean, that's necessarily not going to be in the way, but
No,
just
it's fine.
pop pin here.
So looks like same rollers as maybe your lever arms use on the back?
Similar, very similar. Super smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, we like our kind of textured finish, so being able to preserve that and keep it looking fresh was a high priority of ours. But
Do you have different depth configurations for the pulley?
so then this is a half rack. We want to get this into a wall mounted version. Obviously, like you said, super small footprint already, and getting the cable system. There's a lot of us at work that are like, oh, can we get rid of our folding racks and move to this? Because it's exciting to have the plate stack.
1-to-1 ratio? Okay. I was gonna say I didn't
1 to 1
expect it to be that heavy.
Yeah.
And then 2-to-1. I'm sorry. 2-to-1 how?
Well, if you just connect them, right? If you connect both.
So
with
1-to-1
like the same-
connected.
Yep.
Got it. I see some other things on. I don't know. What's the stack on here? 250.
250.
Okay.
Yep.
So do you have addition for the weight stack, or is that just one set?
Oh yeah, just that's what we have for now, right? Just the one set.
And I figured that was just a one set because either companies will do like a 200 and then like a 300 or something if they do offer two.
Yep.
But you offered 250, which was in my mind I was like, oh, that's an interesting decision. It's kind of halfway in between what I would normally consider.
We like it.
There's some the stuff on here that I don't know is I see some goodies on the back here. I saw the V that caught out of my eye.
Okay.
Tell me about what this is and push this home. I don't know that I've seen this before. I I'm guessing I know what it is, but I'll let you.
Of course,
explain it.
yeah. No, this is where we wanted to show it first, of course.
Yeah.
And bring it to HomeGymCon. It's a rack mounted or wall mounted, which is good for us. Belt squat system that we've collaborated with Britain at Vendetta Strength. So it's super simple. And then we have magnets here to keep it.
Oh, cool.
And then so you just have your kickstand, can load your weight.
Yeah.
And then again, you can pin in or just like hook in with your belt spot. So it's been nice. And then
Now, does this,
it's the ability to rotate.
is this just for when it rotates so it protects the rack? It doesn't roll, correct?
Right. It doesn't. Yep. So it's more so once you hook in and then lift, you're able to just and then go to work.
It looks like, but it's also free swinging if you want it to as well. So you just
take the
unhook
mag
that
pin out. Yep.
Okay.
Mag pin out.
So now it can. Interesting. All right. Cool.
Yeah,
That's
we
cool.
had Britain come to Fargo and kind of
Yeah.
toyed around and had a couple ideas.
Yeah.
It's just great when we can work together with guys like that and kind of get some projects finished up. So look for this one soon.
That's what I was gonna ask. How soon?
Yeah.
Soon can someone?
Yeah, I think we'll be able to have this ready to rock in a couple months. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I can't wait to see it on a wall mounted setup. It's cool seeing it on the rack.
You mind if I fold it back up?
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
to make sure I can show how it's done.
Yep, there you go, just like that.
And
And then that'll stay.
some strong magnets.
Yep.
Cool.
Super sleek.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I love a belt squat too. I just think the motion is just the cleanest.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're excited about it. I think it's going to pair nicely with our wall mounted stuff and it'll just look completely on brand. And
100%.
anytime we can pair together with guys that are doing great work, it's fun.
It's right up the same alley as the dialed motion partnership and everything. So
yeah, absolutely.
love to see it. Now, the other question I had, because I've actually gotten this from people before.
Sure.
Do you guys ever have plans for 1-inch hole racks?
Sure. So we used to offer a 1-inch hole rack.
Yeah.
And then part of what was going on is we had Build Limitless. We had racks where like on the Build Limitless Halo arms that you got, we have numbers on the back because there's a little window for adjustment, but we wanted to get to more of like a standard upright that could one upright across all like lines. We're not quite one upright across, but we determined we wanted to go to 5/8. We figured strength-wise, we weren't going to lose out on anything, and then we wanted to offer west side spacing. So to swing back around and answer your question, there's a day coming up, I think, where we'll go back to a 1-inch, and it'll just be an option, right? It'll be our pro rack, 3x3, either 5/8 holes or 1-inch, and then, you know, tighter spacing, and then side to side, front to back. So I think it's coming.
Okay. That was what I was going to ask, because then, to your point, you have to either revisit some of the attachments that pertains to those that you've dialed in, but
yeah, that's part of it. But like
okay.
with our access pad, you know, I think it's just creating a bigger hole. When we launched the profile Halo arms, immediately we started getting a lot of feedback about having the C channel with a 1-inch option. So we're just a mag pin away from being able to launch that product. So yeah, it's coming, right? It's never fast enough. But it's fun to, you know, watch the innovation and then watch what the community says and listen and try to make it better. So
100%.
yeah, we're innovating and we're listening. That's for sure.
Now, anything else besides, I know some of the new racks, attachments, anything else that's not here that's coming soon?
Well, the 3 new benches that are here are coming soon. We just launched them. You know, we showed them to our crowd of people who couldn't make it here, and we've launched them on pre-order. But this is really first look at these benches. And I think what I'm most excited about is a clean line, like all the padding matches. It's grippy, you know, a D-Boss logo, so it's subtle. But it's something that we needed to kind of clean up a little bit. That we have great wall-mounted solutions. We needed a better solution for standalone to kind of match what we're doing with Build Limitless and our functional training.
100%. Yeah, and then it matches, like, I mean, I can tell just like, even from the padding on that leg roller, I think it might even be the same as the vinyl or whatever. But yeah, it all is very like cohesive and fits together, especially when you see it in person. You're like, oh yeah, this belongs. It's like the same, you know, quality kind of thing.
That's cool.
There's a go.
It's awesome.
So
awesome.
All right, well, I think that's pretty much it. I appreciate you taking the time to show me through it. So
awesome.
Thanks again.
Appreciate you for coming.
Now I'm here with Adam from Fringe Sport, and I see a couple new things here that caught my eye as I was walking through. So I kind of want to talk to what you guys have here and some of the thought process behind it. What are they and stuff like that?
Yeah, sure.
So what about this? Let's start with this here.
We've got the lat cool down low row tower here. You've got the pulley up top for lat pull down, obviously. If you want to do any type of tricep movement or anything that would require the cables to be lower, you just take this trolley, drop it down here, and now the cable's lower. Perfect for your tricep presses and
Now
stuff alike.
that's not like a functional trainer trolley, right? That's just that's just a height adjuster.
It just sets up the height.
Cool. Now, this is the other thing I've seen ATX do something similar and a few other ones where this adjustable, is this just for, I think it's for feet, right? Feet and
That's right.
knee?
Yes,
Because
it
it's not the roller. So yeah, tell me
It is
about
a
that.
similar concept to be our has some key differences.
Yeah.
One of those being that the rear upright is completely the same as we've got at our rack, so Dane and alike. The trolley is also borrowed from our Dane. So are the front feet here, or rather the side feet, which are the front feet on the Dane. The footprint is, as you can see from the side, for the extra exercises which you get with this seat being dropped down.
Yeah.
It's not drastically improved. Sorry, it's not drastically larger than it would be for a regular lat pull down machine. You've got your foot.
Can I hop on real quick? Yeah, as we're doing this.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can keep talking to it. I just wanted to sit down and try one. Slide. It's really nice having the your feet lower than like as if you were just sitting on the ground, you know.
Yeah.
Than the pulling position. So
Yeah, I enjoy that myself.
that's nice. Now
You can also get real good range of motion with this. You can drop the lat even further.
all the way down.
So for
And I'm 6'2", so yeah. So you, I mean you can get a solid stretch here. Now, can I see it's got bands, band pegs. Now the other thing I was gonna ask, do you guys sell it as like a standalone that people can add this on to an existing rack, or
it's
this
the
is what it
unit
is?
as is.
Yeah.
Also, the weight stack goes quite high. It's the weight stack tops out at 320.
320. Wow. And it's 1-to-1, right?
Yes, it is.
So yeah, that is very heavy.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
So far, we've only had one guy being able to rep it out.
So most weight stacks, even if they're heavy, end at like 300.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, most of them are like 250 to 70.
exactly. So yeah, 300, 330, 320 is pretty good, pretty impressive. Cool. So what about release date on this?
So this one is, I believe, already being shipped to the distribution center.
Okay.
And also,
So soon.
so it's gonna be here pretty quick.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the other things I noticed were things, the Smith machine guide rods were actually the first thing that caught my eye. Yeah. So it looks like it's front mounted or hypothetically, I guess, rear mounted. So it does not go inside a rack.
It can though.
Oh, it can.
So,
all right.
let me just start from the basics.
Please.
It's got the bring your own bar mechanism here.
Oh, that's awesome. Yep.
So whatever bar you want to use.
So basically these things unlatch, you can drop the bar in the middle and you tighten it. Awesome.
Just clip it on. It's also pretty quick to move around and change the bar, because one thing that we've done here, I don't know if you've noticed, is we've added a magnet here.
Okay.
So when
it all stays up here.
mechanism, so when you open up the mechanism, you can move the bar where pretty quick on your own. It's not a two-person operation. It could have been. You've got the safeties here. They're mounted on the mag pins. Maybe.
And I like
position to proceed.
Oh, you're good. You can go to the other side. I was gonna say I like that you guys have gone with the locking mechanism, not integrated into the rack and just wherever you want to.
Yes.
Start.
Also, we're just using mag clips for the hook as well. So if you've got a few spares, you can set up the heights that you most often use permanently, right? Then
now, is it just one height option for this? I don't remember if you guys have two different.
So this rod, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a seam right here.
Okay.
These are two rods.
Okay.
So you just screw one.
So short one and then tall one together.
That's correct.
Yeah, cool.
So that way,
I like that, yeah.
There were two motivations for that. One being just easier to ship and make it more affordable for the consumer. The second reason is Well, obviously it's quite tall, so with just this one rod, you can now set it up on the inside.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
obviously the range of motion is going to be a little bit compromised, but hey,
Yeah.
you got to do what you got
Cool.
to do.
Now, is this live, the Smith machine attachment? I haven't seen any announcements or anything
It's
about it.
in manufacturing as we speak. So all of the new things that we've got right here are, yes, those are prototypes, but those are the prototypes that have made it to production already.
Okay, cool.
Then also, I don't know if you've noticed, there's a roller back here.
Okay.
Reason being, we wanted to go with a thinner rod, but because of the mechanism that sticks out quite a bit, and us using a mag pin here directly on the uprights,
Yeah.
the distance from the bar to the hook is pretty significant. So we wanted to make sure that the weight capacity of the unit is good and it doesn't buckle.
So there's an extra supporting to keep it.
That's right, which is only loaded with the bar on the hook. It
Oh, okay.
take it off.
Got it. It's not touching it at all. Yeah.
And clearance.
Yeah. Cool. So,
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
another thing in terms of the rack height, which you've asked about, this top bracket here is see-through. Yeah, so the rod can go all the way through. You can go to lower rack.
Yeah.
And obviously, if your rack is much shorter, you can just take off that bottom rod.
Yeah. Now, you were saying this can go in the rack too?
Yeah,
Or-
but
or-
obviously it would just be
With the shorter, okay, gotcha.
Yes.
So, but to be clear, it does not mount to, like, it only mounts vertically this bracket. You don't have some other one to mount it inside, like on a pre-battery.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
Yeah. Just want to make sure, because I get that all the time with all the Smith machine attachments out there. People want to like drop them into whatever their rack or different brands, and they just want to know like what the
So
compatibility.
it will work with any brand rack, because we've got both 5/8 and 1-inch holes. The rod can go through, so any height will work. The holes are slotted as well, so any distance between the holes will work. But the reason why we didn't want to have it mounted to the cross member is for the range of motion.
Yeah.
So it was very important to me to make sure that if you want to do deadlifts, it's pretty much almost at the floor.
Yep.
As far as I was able to find out, that's the lowest starting position on a Smith on the market.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Now I'm actually the other thing I'm interested in. I'm actually leaning on over here, which does this guy have a name yet? I mean, I know what it does. Dragonfly. Oh, I like that. I like that.
So the naming convention with this one is pretty simple. When you
lock on, oh, it does a lot.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
When you look at it from the front, it kind of looks like a dragonfly.
Yeah, I totally see that.
The dragon.
So I'm gonna load these on here.
Yeah, you've got 3 positions for the plate. So you've got obviously 2 pins right here, but then you can also change the position of this one.
Oh, okay.
And this is like an in-between.
Yep.
So having a plate here for side laterals, it'll be heaviest up front. The medium position, it'll be somewhere in between, and this one will be heaviest at the top.
Yep.
You've locked it,
I'm gonna try this out real quick too. So that's up there. So the ability to do, obviously not just load the plates into angles, but you know, change the actual angles at which they're at.
Check it out, how different it feels now.
All right, so let's try this. A lot different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So you can adjust the strength curve to your liking.
Now you can do chest flies on here.
Yes. So
laying chest flies on
you
a bench.
can roll down a bench, or maybe have some sort of like a
pad
sticking out from the uprights, and then you set up your starting position with the mag pin here.
Yep.
And you've got a fly.
Cool.
So because of the shape of the unit,
oh, and you can lock them in.
I personally don't like using it locked in.
Yeah.
I like the free movement of the handle. I would personally just use the lock-in position for storage.
But you can if you want to. You want to try stuff.
In terms of flies, to anyone wondering, because of the shape of the unit, it's most similar in feel to a decline dumbbell fly.
Okay. Yep.
Or like a cable crossover with the cables up top.
Okay. Yep.
Because it gives you a crazy stretch.
Yeah. Nice. The other thing I noticed here actually is this little eyelet bolt. So I'm assuming you could attach for people if they want to use it as some sort of lever for like a cable attachment.
That's right.
Or
So
something.
if you've got a cable tower with the 2 heads, you can use that for that. There's also slots here for a carabiner for your bands or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you can attach a band here as well. And then there's also an extra threaded hole here.
Ah, yeah.
We plan on releasing different handles, handle extensions.
Yeah.
But for now, what it can be used is you can attach this eyelet.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not.
Yeah. And then
You can attach the eyelet here
Yeah.
and use like a cable, cable attachment, maybe an ankle cuff if you would use it that way.
Awesome.
Also, depending on how you would use it, it's the entire assembly of the unit is fully reversible. So you can have the handle on the front of the machine or at the rear of the shell, depending on how you use it, whether it's inside or outside the rack.
Yeah.
What I personally like about the handle being the other way around that it's set up right now is you can roll in a bit closer with your bench without hitting your head.
Yeah, makes sense. There was another rack attachment I was looking at. I see actually 2 different ones here. So this is the Mammoth belt squat?
Yes, that's the Mammoth Felt Squat.
But it's a couple of different new things on here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So is this a Porter phys ed?
That's right. Yeah, he
okay.
just brought us the final version yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So it is a
maybe we can
official collaboration with you guys?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
We, on our side, we haven't figured out making it for us.
Yeah.
Right now, it's available with Matthew Porter at Porter Phys Ed.
Yep.
We will be offering this later down the line.
Yep.
It's just been finalized by them, so now we could adapt it for it.
And so it basically allows you, so this handle is new too?
Yes, the handle is new. It's pretty much a 2-in-1. So you've got this this portion which allows you to set up the handle at different angles, so you can use it for Romanian deadlifts, for example.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Maybe
think about that. Yeah. Lock it in low. Yep.
Yeah. So you lock it in
a little bar.
right,
Yeah.
and you've got. And you've got your Romanian deadlift set up.
Yep.
You can also just have the handle. There's a thread here.
Okay.
So you just set up the same way you would a weight horn.
Okay. Yeah. And then
And this one, obviously, it also doubles down on weight plate, plate pegs.
And then the swivel bracket's new as well.
Yes. So that's the swan neck. So the way it works, it's rack mounted or wall mounted. There's a bunch of slots here. It was the initial idea was to use it for storage, which it stores.
Yep. Well, I was just showing articulation. Sorry.
The storage goes up like here.
Okay. Yep.
Like obviously with the handle it doesn't work, but you can you get the point.
Yeah.
And you just put the mag bin through here.
Yep.
So that way you can just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Also, as you've pointed out, it articulates side to side.
Yep.
This pin allows you to lock the position in or have it free moving.
Okay. Yep.
So it's gonna.
There it goes.
So you can lock the position if you want to do regular belt or have it articulate in for side lunges, or maybe you just want to feel it move a little bit more.
100%. Now this is basically, so this is your Dane 2.0, right? For everyone at home. It's the Dane 2.0 cable attachment that's here to a, like, basically it's like a lat extender bracket that allows you to do lat pull downs with a better range of motion and extend it away from the rack rather than just doing it off the functional trainer system.
That's right. So this attachment just comes with a cable.
Yep.
It will come with a set of crimps, so you can set up the cable to your preferred range of motion. But you can also set the range of motion by just moving the trolley down a bit.
And it looks like you can adjust the kind of the height as well, or the, how high you want it on the rack.
Yes. And then when you're not using it, you just take off the cable and you loop it.
Then it can just kind of hang out there.
And it gets it out of the way.
Yeah. So it's simple, but it's very functional.
Yes. And when you're not using the bar, you also just throw it up there.
Yeah, cool. Now there's one thing that I've seen and I thought might be here, but I don't see it here, is I've seen in progress some sort of articulating or front swivel functional trainer arms, similar like the GitRx Tornado arms. Can you say anything about those, or
Yeah,
it's
those-
an idea you're working on?
Those are in the works.
Yeah.
We've had some challenges with that product specifically.
Yeah.
We're working on it though. I will say our pipeline is pretty full right now. There's a bunch of new stuff coming in.
I mean, I've already seen more here than I've seen you guys. I think I've shared on Instagram or anything recently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's right. So, and those are all new. And key thing though, those are all new which are ready for production.
yeah,
There's a bunch which are like this close, or to production.
Cool.
I believe we'll double the product count in terms of the new products.
oh, that's great to hear.
Within the next couple of months, it's
Yeah.
going to be double that.
Now, is it in general across the board? Is it all more like rack focused, rack integrated, or
Across the board.
okay, cool. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, thanks so much for showing me around, and yeah, happy to look forward to those products as they come out from Frame.
Awesome.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, so I'm here with Britton from Vendetta Strength and Athletics. He's got a handful booth here shared with Rorman Strength, who we'll probably talk about here in a second. But first, I want to talk to this Vendetta. And the thing you're known for, as you can see actually on this post here, are these brackets, and they're lever arm brackets.
Yeah.
So first, I want to ask, how long have you been working on these? And then I will actually go see the ones that are on the rack.
Yeah, so the ones that are on the rack are the full trolley adapter. So those are used, they're compatible with Titan and Rep.
Yeah.
So if you
You
have,
walk in there and start.
so if you have existing Titan and Rep lever arms, you can upgrade them from that fixed mount to a trolley mount, and also gain the 180 degrees of basically adjustability for replicating a numerous amount of commercial machines.
This saves me from doing the spotter arms on top of
Exactly.
lever arms
Yep.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, so it sets your starting position. Still recommended to use a spotter arm down below just for safety reasons. But for setting that starting position, that's what it's perfect for.
Yep.
So easily adjustable, up and down. It'll find its hole back there with that trolley.
Yeah.
And then from that full trolley adapter, I then branched into other bolt-on adapters that are compatible with the Rogue earlier model lever arms, and then also the current model lever arm that, and then Serenex compatible with
Okay,
Serenex.
so I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, so we got Rogue 2.0, 1.0 Monster Light, 1.0 Monster, and Serenex.
Yep.
And so it's compatible with all those. It reuses the existing trolley because they have good trolleys, but they do not have the 180 degree adjustability.
Like your other ones, you include the rollers, obviously,
Yes.
and then make it kind of this
Yep.
full roller trolley
Yep.
type thing.
Exactly. So then you just adjust the pin out here to whatever starting position you want. If you got a bench inside of there, or if you want to do standing shoulder presses or anything like that, you can do those in between them.
My favorite, storing it up out of the way when
That is very true.
in a
Yeah.
you don't want to be able to use
Yep.
the front of your rack for
Yeah,
those
so just
things.
store it up and out of your way,
Yep,
like that right
it
there.
is. That's the
A
jam.
little bit higher than that, but
Yeah.
we got a short rack today, so
I did those and used them for pull-ups and stuff like that too.
yeah.
So
Yep. So,
Pretty-
and if you want to number it out here, just use a silver Sharpie.
Yep.
I will say I didn't want to cut out any more material
Yeah.
to add numbers in there, so just use a silver Sharpie.
yeah,
No added cost.
yeah.
Now,
Now,
yes,
since you came out with the brackets, then that was the original thing.
Yeah.
The brackets, and then you brackets for, I think it was what, Titan Rep War maybe first, and then you
pretty much every major brand.
Serenex,
Yeah, yeah. Titan and Reb compatible with those first.
Yep.
And then Rogue and Serenex compatible with those. So no affiliation disclaimer.
Yep.
With any of those brands. I
I'm
love
trying to
all
get
of
that to
them.
work with the SMAI ones.
Yeah.
That's
Love all of them. Yeah. Couple offshoots. I'll support those every now and then.
yep.
But yeah.
And yeah, so then there's some new stuff since then.
Yeah.
that
So
you're working on that's not out yet. First, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, 2.5 years in the making. A lot of people saw these teased on the Instagram, like literally 2.5 years ago, Christmas. And it's just converging and free motion lever arms. So it's only going to be compatible with my trolley.
Yep.
So it's not going to be compatible with those other bolt-on ones. Just too much variables that go into
When
that.
you say your
manufacturing.
trolley, what do you mean by that?
So my trolley. So anyone that has bought the trolley adapter to upgrade their Titan and Rep
Gotcha.
or lever arms,
Yep.
they'll be able to then upgrade the lower arm from the straight original arm to now the converging and free motion.
Okay.
So
Got it.
you've got fixed straight, you've got one incline or one inward angle.
Yeah.
During all of my prototypes, I did several angles in there, and I really found that far past this, there wasn't much usability for an increased angle. And most studies say 12.5 inches or 12.5 degrees is like that ergonomic angle.
There you go. So that behind it. So now, is there any difference effectively between that and what was I've seen prior as the first one was like the Kaizen gym pin articulating bracket as far as this piece and this piece only?
Just amen. Amen. So, no, there's fewer holes.
Your take.
Yeah, just my take on it. Yeah, and it's only compatible with mine.
Yep.
So, Kyle, Kaizen, and Jim Pin, we're all good together. So, this is really just that end-to-end solution for my customers that already supported me with this.
Yeah.
They're gonna have that full-on upgrade path like I promised.
Yeah. Now,
what
are these 2 holes for?
So that's actually just a manufacturing more so locating hole.
Okay.
So that way I can ensure that this pin lines up perfectly perfectly straight with the lever arm.
Yep.
And also that all of the pivot pins line up perfectly straight. So it's also a dual purpose. You can store your pin down there when it's not in use. So you store your pin right there
100%.
to get your converging. So, but yeah, that's what that's for.
Cool.
For my engineering background, it's just
Now working your way down, I see there's a couple things here. Actually, before we even get to the handles, and maybe it is part of the handles, I see these, I don't even know, they're not keyhole, they're some sort of other slotted
So let me grab and I do it.
hole. So I'm imagining there's some sort of special type attachments that go in there.
So yeah, this is a carabiner keyhole pretty much.
Carabiner, there we go.
So normally all of us are loading up our lever arms with typical weight plates.
Yep.
But with the wonderful inventions of electronic weights and digital weights like the Vulture and stuff, you could also use dialed motion in those retractors.
Yep.
Potentially some functional trainers or cable machines, depending on how that cable goes or is routed.
Yep.
But you can throw a carabiner in here now,
Okay.
and you could attach a Vultra or a similar up high or down low, and now you have
bolts.
oh
my God.
without an eye bolt. So now you can have pull downs from up top,
Yeah.
or you could have any press or any row from down low if you're going to clip into the bottom.
So the back has that too.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah. So the back has that same slotted keyhole or
You'd be
slotted
surprised-
carabiner
or
hole.
maybe finding eye bolts are like kind of difficult, and they take up a little more space. And
Yeah. And it's like, so I did, like I said, 2.5 years. And the reason behind that is I've gone through literally 7 different prototypes of this. I have 7 of these at home that are trashed. They'll never see the light of day. And that's because me, like, I'm perfectionist. I just keep tweaking, and then I have epiphany moments like, oh, what if I change this? What if I add this?
Yeah.
I don't like doing 2.0 versions. Like, if it hits, it hits.
Yep.
And I put a lot of thought and effort into it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as you said that, I'll move over here to this one. You said eye bolt. So I was doing an eye bolt on the end out here, and it didn't work because your cable would come down and it would rub on the edge.
Yep.
And it didn't work. So now you've got all those carabiner clip holes.
Yep.
In addition, you've got a carabiner clip hole out here at front. So that way you can do your belt squats as well if you want to do that. So
I'm excited for this.
so I deleted the eye bolt out here and I added that functionality. That was like probably over the last 2 prototypes that I did.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's a lot of the key features on that. I got a bumper here and a bumper here, so no matter what, it's always going to be protected. It's never going to clang against that metal to metal on your rack.
Yep.
And then again, 180 degrees up here.
Yep.
You're going to lock it in or just set the starting angle, whichever way you want to put that pin in.
Now this is now the other brainchild of all this, right?
Yeah. So this is, let me turn it around. Nope, that was the right way.
So two things happening with this right now. We're just showing the clearly adjustable, multi-angle adjustable handles, removable handles. I see a Earl nut on here.
Yep. So it's a 360 adjustable handle.
Yep.
You got 360 degrees of rotation all the way around with a pop pin adjustable.
Oh my God.
You can remove, so you can remove the handle and you can use any 1-inch handle that you already have or are 1-inch handles or are nerd handles.
Yep.
You can also use the Rorman strength articulating handles because so that way there's full clearance around here. You can use those inside as well. Yeah.
Wow.
It'll go, hold on to that, please.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
because I gotta support my man Rory.
Yeah.
Little blooper there.
Just-
But yeah, so you've got full articulating still out here. Yep, so it'll still go full, mostly all the way around.
Yeah.
As long as you're straight right here, it's good. And then a little bit of an inclination, I believe up to like 30-ish or so.
way.
And you still got that. And of course, out front, you have it all the way around.
You are
So-
making me want you to hurry up and release these to the world.
What's
What's your time? What's your time frame on these?
late summer, July, August, like into July, August.
That's
sometime.
close. I mean,
Yeah.
it's closer than I thought, to be quite honest. I'm talking to Dialed Motion Rep, and they're like, yeah, later, end of the year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've already got quotes on it, everything. Drawings are finalized. So this is.
Are you going to do, sorry, real quick, are you going to do like how you've done in the past, like a batch pre-order?
Yeah, I usually always do that because I'm a one-man operation.
Yeah, then you know exactly how many you need.
Yeah, and it's just less risk, and it's easier for me to plan that way. I know it's a little bit of an inconvenience
back in there?
sometimes. Yeah, throw that back in there. I know it's a little inconvenient sometimes to customers, but I'm trying to do the best that I can. I got a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I got a full-time day job as an engineer, so this is what I do on the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can use any handle, pop-in adjustable. On the final version, this will be anodized black, laser etched logo, and a little bit better refinement. So no bolts poking through. It'll be all be self-contained in there.
Cool.
So, and you'll, I'll have a reducer for 5/8" owners, so that way they can also just basically set screw a permanent reducer in there to go from 1 inch to 5/8, so they don't have to deal with a reducer that slides on and off all the time.
Now I was going to ask the handles themselves. I'm imagining you are going to kind of sell these in. Are you selling everything as a package? Like, how are you going to handle all the different options?
Yep. So I'll do a la carte, so you can build it all the way out.
Yeah.
I'll do just the trolley and the arm itself. I'll do just the arm itself for people that have already bought the trolley.
Yep.
And then if you don't want the handle, if you got somebody else's, you can do that.
Yep.
And you only want this, you can do that. So all the way around. And then weight horn too.
One size handle itself, or are you doing multiple size handles?
No, it'll be one size handle.
Okay. What is that, like 37 millimeter or something?
40-ish something.
40.
I can't remember off the top of my head. My tape measure is over there somewhere. But no, I struck the road. I struck the middle of the road. And I think it's at like 40 or 42, I believe, somewhere around there.
Cool.
Around 1.5 inch.
Yep.
A little bit shy.
And
But yeah, so you can do close grip here. And again, you can keep articulating all the way around.
in fact, what are the angle increments?
15 degree
I was gonna
increments.
say, to have this like slight angle is actually super good.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's just wrist stacking, joint stabbing, and everything.
Plus, I'm assuming then you can essentially get angle increments by the time you account for this and the angle here.
Yeah. So other reason behind like our handles was so that way they're the perfect length to get that 12.5 degree optimum angle here.
Yeah.
And then you also have just super close grip right here as well.
Awesome.
So anything else out there was too long and they hit, or too short and it was just not right.
I'm super pumped with these.
So yeah, you can go quick mount like this right here.
Yep.
It's a quick mount.
Yep.
With the dual hole pattern.
Yep.
I got a picture of me doing that back in 2022, by the way, before anybody dramatizes that. I'll prove it.
Yeah.
And then also weight horn here. So this is like a semi-permanent with a weight horn. That's more of like a cable machine setup, so you can detach it or use the handle anywhere else or store it.
Is it gonna come with the bolt here, or do you have like a knurled knob type thing?
Yeah, me and Rory will work on that together. But yeah, typically we could do a knurled knob.
And then you got the little addition at the end to be able to put attachments or other.
No, so this is a dual-sided weight horn. They're Rorman strength.
Okay.
Yeah, so we worked on this design together, shared it with him. He pushes those.
Yep.
And then so we'll work on that together and make sure all of these are included.
Yep.
But yeah, so storage position, if you want that handle out of the way, you can put it up right like that. Store the arm up and out of the way, do whatever with it.
Yep. And then the cool thing is you can, again, just like these handles, either a 1-inch hold, you can put them under your rack if you want to do something else with them. Use them for belt squat handles, use them for pull-ups, or you can still actually put this whole bracket on your rack and then do like angled, like adjustable pull-ups or something like that too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of different uses, man. I mean, that's just what I do is all of us work hard for our money, including me.
Yeah.
with a day job and everything.
Yep.
But yeah, so I just try to pack as much versatility, usability, and also like long-term durability into it, because it's not a cheap hobby. It's an investment, really. Buy quality equipment. It's going to last for as long as you are, and hopefully your kids are going to pick it up one day and use it as well too.
Exactly.
So that's my philosophy, at least, and my thought process, designing and manufacturing stuff. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Yeah, it's taken a while, but I love all the iterations that have gone into it.
And so all of this stuff is coming out around the same time then? This whole,
it will.
You said you're all selling it together, all a la carte?
Yeah.
Cool.
And these have been out of stock for a while. For the first
Are you
half of the year.
reopening those two, or are you just focusing on the R?
No. I'll reopen those two. So, but yeah, those have been out of stock, not making them because I do everything in batches. But yeah, I mean, we had our 1-year-old last year, and just I realized that I was spending too much time on business and not enough time with our kids. So I took the first 6 months of this year to just really focus on the kids. Kids and family. Sorry. Lost my voice and I'm getting choked up.
Oh, you're good.
But so yeah, just focus on that, and then also finish up a lot of these ideas and prototypes.
That's what I was gonna say. So if we could finish with some of the last things here. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm super pumped for the lever arm ecosystem, but I know you've been working on things outside of that. We actually saw the PRX belt squad with the
that's an awesome collaboration.
That on there earlier today, so I'm excited for that.
So
that still coming. That's another
Did
one.
you video it?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, sweet. So the key thing there is it's primarily is a wall mounted design. So you just fold it up, you mount it to a stud, fold it up flat, and it takes up no room whenever it's not being used.
And then what other things you're working on here? So I see the handles probably reusable for the dip bar.
So yeah, this is just it's a dip attachment, also a landmine attachment. As well, it's got some other uses.
Here?
I'll show you.
Okay. Right.
I'll give you the full walkthrough on it. So yeah, dip attachment. You've got your width adjustment. You can adjust the width of your handles by undoing the handles, and then of course just moving them either in or out.
And angle adjustments. Sorry, again, I'm getting ahead of it here.
So in or out. So if you want to focus more on chest or tris, wherever you want to be, or if you're a narrow frame or a wide frame, or maybe you've just got different kids or clients or different people working on your gym, you can adjust it all to them. So you got 5 holes in there. You got a whole 10 inches of adjustability all the way out. So it's super great. And then this will be available in 1 inch and 5/8 holes, as well as the handles. So then from there, you've got, like I said, width adjustment, but you can also go from parallel dips, which I prefer now just because of elbow. But you can also go out like your traditional wide dip bars.
That's sweet.
Like that right there. So now you've got wide out. Not only that, but you can also, let me adjust it around a little bit. You can go in with the handles, and I'll demonstrate why. But so
storage,
if it's back in the dips, if it's back in the dip setting, like your parallel handles or your Y setting, you can also adjust the vertical angle. So instead of just a horizontal dip or parallel dip, and you can drop it down a little bit to do a negative.
The first one I saw was what, the Rogue Velocidor or something like that. That had just angles built into actually the handles themselves. But you're incorporating your bracket style, rack mounted design.
And this is a multi-mount. This is a 180-degree multi-mount. So not only dip attachment, but it'll take leg rollers, and it'll take like any 3x3 tube. I've also got a couple other ideas. So it's really future-proof, just a multi-purpose multi-mount. I teased one of those like 3 years ago and like literally my first Instagram post, and I just never got back around to it, man. I've been so busy with the lever arms. But now I'm finally trying to focus on other stuff too. So yeah, you've got parallel to the ground, you've got slightly up, slightly down, so that way it just puts more emphasis on different parts of your chest. You can also store it down and out of the way. So that way it's not taking up any floor space. You can also remove the handle entirely and fold it up kind of like an X-Wing fighter. So that way it's even smaller. But I mean, I got kids running around my gym, so I don't want to bump it into stuff. So I showed dip setting.
The landmine. I saw it when you flipped it down.
So I'll put those handles back on in the landmine setting for your Viking press. So now, you can remove this from the multi-mount and it's got a 2-inch barbell sleeve.
Yep.
So now you can slide your barbell in here and do landmine
This
workouts.
is like, okay, UHMW or some
Yeah.
sort of.
Well, this right now, it's
Okay.
3D printed plastic for prototype, but yeah, final version will be actual CNC machine.
Yeah.
Really highly durable plastic.
Okay.
With my engineering background, I'm pretty good at the material properties aspect of it. And again, forgive the wear and tear on it. This is a spray painted prototype version, not powder coated.
Honestly, it's better than some companies spit and finish.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That means a lot. Yeah, I mean, just with everything going on in life, I didn't have time to get it powder
I
coated.
understand.
But yeah, so you got dip attachment, you've got landmine attachment, you've got multi-mount, and like I said, multiple things can connect to this. You can do it as a
These coming
dedicated
out
rail.
around the same time as those, or these? I mean, the handles, yeah, but I meant the dip attachment coming out in a month or two.
Yeah, I'm all targeting like late summer, July, August.
Cool. That's soon. That's soon.
Because anything that comes out of this trade show, got to beat them to that. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, that right there. And then I've also incorporated again that carabiner clip on the top and bottom out here as well. So that way again, if you've got a Voltra or another digital weight machine, or dialed motion retractor, or maybe any not free motion, but a functional trainer or cable machine, then you could basically set it up, clip your carabiner here, and now you've got some press down.
I was gonna say you should like
out
dip
front.
machine type thing. Yeah, traction dips. Yeah.
And then you could also kneel down and clip it in the bottom, and if you got some presses,
oh, that's cool.
you could drop this bracket down and do some standing calf raises or shrugs.
Crazy because
They really,
it's so compact. Like, you're able to just do that, and you don't have to move it anywhere. Or go get some long lever arm type thing and connect it.
Yeah. So this this has been a long time in the making. I've got like 4 or 5 garbage prototypes at home of this too, and that was just the last like no cost added, but huge value if you're into that type of thing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Just that right there. I try to pack as much versatility into it because again, it's an investment. I want everybody to get their money's worth, including me. So
cool.
But so yeah, you could do off of that dip attachment that inspired me to do a dedicated dip station at my home gym. So then you've got a wall mount bracket for an upright right here. So if you just take a single upright and you want a dedicated station, or you want a dedicated storage upright for all your accessories, or if you want to put a couple of these uprights side by side, you can also attach other people's shelves to it.
Yeah.
It's the perfect offset for that. So you can do a shelf off of that. So just build out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now you've got a dedicated wall mounted upright for a station or storage. And I've got 2 depths of that. But the low profile, primarily just storage, and then also a greater offset one. So that way you can actually get your hand back in behind it and put stuff on and off.
Cool.
At my home gym now, I literally have basically a mini rack. A low profile rack, 2-post rack bolted to the wall with these, and a header board, a stringer board this way. Because it's 4.5-inch offset on a stud this way. And if you want to use a header board and hit multiple studs, like any wall mount rack, then it's 6-inch offset. So now it's actually the perfect distance to get your hand behind my Vendetta adapter. So you can have just a dedicated wall mounted 2-post lever arm rack, which has been awesome because I freed up my rep areas on the other side. So I do my barbell cable on that side and then do all my lip on that. That's
literally what I will have, the situation I have. I won't have wall mount.
Awesome,
I do a dedicated, let's say a machine rack and a dedicated like barbell cable rack.
Yeah. Sweet. I love it. Sounds like an awesome setup. Yeah. So then mag pins as well. These have been a huge hit. They're just very refined, very well thought out. They got a finger groove here, knurling as well, and fully encased and protected magnet. So there's no metal to metal contact. Stainless steel shaft that's never gonna chip or rust or anything like that. So it's gonna last a lifetime. And it's got perfect magnetic strength. So I worked, several different magnets and iterations of that. Not too much, not too little. Really happy about how that turned out. So I can't keep them in stock. That board's hitting there right there. So I can't keep those in stock. Again, 1-man gig, dude, doing this. Full-time dad, engineer, but part-time this. And then my workouts have had to get more efficient now because I got 2 kids, 2.5 and 1. So I got like 20, 30 minutes to get in and out. And then, so what inspired that was my lovely wife encouraged me to do simpler ideas too. Like, hey, this is all great and well and dandy, but let's see some simple stuff too. So I like this. You challenge me on that. So you've got a dual carabiner mount that you can attach to like your upright right here where your cross member is. So it's just an unused bolt
A permanent
all the time.
band mount.
Yeah. So now you'd have a permanent band mount up here, or you could also do it down low as well.
Yeah.
So you have a high and a low, and the reason behind that is it's just so you're not doing this right here, so you don't have to do this every single time. And whatnot. So and risk damaging your band, and then one day it snaps in your face.
Yeah.
So got a dual carabiner tab design, and then also a single carabiner tab design that's down there on the bottom.
Yeah.
So, and it works again 1 inch and 5/8.
Cool.
Stainless steel, never gonna chip or rust.
And people can use I guess they could use a mag pin or something on like a side if they wanted to do.
Yeah, that one's stainless, so mag pin's not gonna work.
Oh.
I can do a steel version, and then we'll see whatever else I'm cooking up in my brain that comes out later.
A lot of stuff there.
Absolutely.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks so much for showing me through everything, and yeah, I'm excited me personally on a personal level. I'm really excited to get around and try. I'll be in that first batch of lever arms, making sure I get some for the gym / studio at home, and those are going to be really exciting for a lot of people. You're excited about it too.
Yeah, I love your content. I love your home gym too.
Oh,
it's super clean. Everything you do is very well refined. So.
Yeah, thanks.
So I admire that.
Yeah.
From one person to another, one creator to another creator. On different sides.
For sure. For sure. Well, thanks, Brendan. Thanks again for taking us through.
Absolutely, man. So,
all right.
Anytime.
Yeah, thanks. So now we're here at the ATX booth. This is one of the most anticipated booths of the show because ATX, for those who don't know, is a German company, so German engineering that's previously been serving Europe and I believe other areas like Australia. But now, very soon, they're going to be servicing the US, and that's why they're here at HomeGymCon with a ton of different machines. I will have some B-roll of some of the machines here. Unfortunately, not me using them. There literally are, 20 or 30 machines here. So that is just way too much to potentially put in a video, and I'm sorry to ATX for not being able to go through each thing in depth. But what I am excited to say is these will be starting to be reviewed by US reviewers. I'm taking one home in the vertical leg press machine, so I'm gonna showcase that, and we'll talk a little bit more about the brand and stuff there. But I do wanna bring awareness to two things. That one, their US site is live. You cannot order anything from there though. It might have pricing, double check online. The cool thing as well about all of this is all these machines, everything you see here will now be available in the US very shortly. So we're gonna go ahead and walk through. You'll see in the front here, I'm literally just gonna start to mention some of the things. This is more of a brand awareness type of thing than any specific highlight. They have a couple different belt squat options from a more compact to the full. And over at the end being the hack squat and leg press that you'll see here. There honestly are just so many goodies. I am so bummed out that I can't possibly speak to each one of them. This one is one I'm also looking forward to, which is some sort of counterbalance here. It looks like plate loaded leg extension and leg curl machine, which looks super beefy with a couple different 3x3 and other size tubing. Then we have the vertical leg press machine, which we will also again show shortly on the review channel. Looking forward to that. Then this very compact, I like one of their themes and all this. They seem to have this theme of like home gym oriented compact thing. So this is another take on a pendulum squat, which is probably the smallest / shortest pendulum squat you'll see. Wow, that actually feels fantastic. And that's a fixed plate too. I'm really impressed by that. This is only a 2 rep thing here that we'll be able to do. Wow, that's cool. Wow, and I'm 6'2", so for that to a little squat here, but this is super narrow width and depth, just overall profile. So a lot of their stuff is more home gym oriented, which is absolutely going to be fantastic. Then of course they have their full rack lines, single stacks, lat pull down low row, obviously their take on the articulating arms in and out, if I can figure out how to use this for the first time. But articulating arms, a ton of attachments, built-in plate storage, their narrow racks, their wider racks with Smith machines. I'm gonna keep going all the way through here. Man, there are just so many goodies. There's benches, there's attachments. Oh, I feel so bad that I can't do all of these. A more like functional trainer style rack, where you'll see there with like the vertical leg press plate on the Smith machine. This is another one I was really interested to try. We saw something very similar at Fringe Sport today, but I know ATX has had this around for a while, which is their low row and then dual. Also, as you take this off, I can tell that lap bar is heavy by how much it's weighing it down. Dual low row lat pull down. This is for your knees. Very, very cool. There's a lot more goodies on here than I can't speak to, and we're gonna go all the way around. And they're big boy, everyone's doing the cave style where they have functional trainer, lat pull down, low row options on each side with the power rack in the middle, the dumbbell storage. For those not familiar again with the ATX, they make everything from dumbbells. As you can see, they make spec bumper plates, full everything systems. This is looks like a pretty bare bones power rack system. They have a Smith machine attachment, which I actually wish I had more time to look at. Same thing, very similar to one we saw earlier, where there's actually no latching post and it's actually removable, these removable latch system. So it doesn't really take up a whole lot of space. It goes on the front of the rack. You can still use the inside for all your barbell movements. And then obviously you have the Smith machine, because everyone likes Smith machines these days, because now they're cool. Man, things like jammer arms. I'm assuming everything here can be kind of, you know, I see articulation in and out, different angles to start it at, kind of like some of the other brands we've looked at. Man, just a lot of functionality, versatility going on. So you want to start it up here, you can. You want to move the jammer arm in, you can. The different angles, different handle widths. The handle's removable. This changes the loading curve. Man, I mean, there's just so much here. So they're gonna have a lot of cool stuff coming out, and something to just keep an eye on in the future. All right, and we're gonna finish just a quick, brief last look over. More racks. I love the look of that rack. I love the badging with the chrome or stainless uprights. Man, they have seal rows. We'll kind of walk around to the last little thing. Actually, this is one I was really interested in. Have to try it at least once. You will see these in my gym one day, mark my words. What a standing chest press machine. Oh. Oh my goodness. Now I don't know how to stop it. Is there a foot lever? We're gonna figure this out together. Am I trapped in here? Oh, wait, it's in between my legs. Kick it. Down, up, over, up, up. There it is. I'm an expert. I know how to do this. A little compact pec fly, rear delt fly. Wow, for a little machine, not bad. Different type of, I see a little different bench attached option, leg extension, leg curl, that might be desirable. Their benches, preacher curl attachments. You name it. They have a whole different line of things to service, of products. They have a whole different line of products to check out. Can't wait till here in the US. Can't wait to do the review of the vertical leg press. Give ATX a check out below. I'm here with Rory from Rorman Strength, and we're taking a look at the Rorman Strength booth. A couple of different things here going on. So I'm a kid in the candy shop, so I'm gonna pick the first one. So these are I would say what do you call these? Just the Rorman tray with rotating handles?
The flagship, they're called the Megalith handles.
Yeah, Megalith handles.
Yeah, so just a little tip for you guys, or not tip, but a little story behind that.
Yeah.
I invented these because I really wanted to do lateral raises with my jammer arms. And
Sideways,
big shoulders, they're all called like boulder shoulders.
Yeah.
So boulder, megalith, there's like a little play on words.
Oh, there you go.
That's where the name came from,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah, this is kind of like the flagship product. This is the stainless steel version. The regular version would just be like your black Cerakote.
Yeah.
But the handle's still stainless steel. Everything operates fine. Exactly the same.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, the first time I actually saw these, because I see them on lever arms, I didn't quite understand. Because I have seen the Rogue ones for a long time, and I had the Rogue handles, the articulating handles, and maybe they go about what 100, less than 180, because they had a little bracket on it, and they'll hit the lever arm.
Yep.
And in my mind, I was always like, I don't understand. Doesn't that already exist? And it has a longer handle and everything. But once you fully articulates, and B, just how smooth it is compared to that, it's not at all the same. Similar concept.
Yep.
Different execution, different product.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and it completely changes it. I went over there to some of the lever arms, and it felt like I was just, it's a weird feeling pressing with weight, but that there doesn't seem to, I don't know. It's not locked into anything.
Yeah, it's not the way that God intended you to move. Like you're
not your wrist.
You're doing a shoulder press should be kind of like just straight up and down, and you're really forced with the Megalith handles, or with lever arms and a stiff handle. You're forced to press in the arc that lever arm makes you push it.
Yeah.
So with this, you don't have to do that. You can press more naturally. You're able to do more like an ollie style lift where you press and you kind of follow through with your head.
Exactly.
You're able to do that with this, and you're not able to do that because you're literally forced to press. So your shoulder press is like just really awkward. It just kind of makes things weird. So,
but even with the Rogue one, there's enough friction on whether it's the handle. I don't remember if the handle's fixed on there, but even like the brackets now, everything's attached. You still do. You're fighting against some of the forces of how it's mounted to everything as well.
Exactly.
And these ones, I'm really surprised. Can you quickly tell me again, what is the system on here that allows it to rotate so easily between the handle itself and then wherever it's attached?
Yeah, so they're just thrust needle bearings. I'll take it apart and show you. So like, it's just a set of bearings. There's a lot of bearings in the Megalith handles between the attachment point at the lever arm and the handles. So as you can see here, you get this is a washer, bearing and a washer. And that's the whole system that it rotates on. So there's one on each side of the pivot arm. I call this pivot arm, little bracket, whatever you want to call it. And then there's some lock washers to make it just stay tight. But that's the whole system. It just rotates really smoothly on that.
Yeah.
And that was the most cost-effective way to do it. There are better methods where you don't have to have a lot of hardware.
But there's not like a lot of play in it that I noticed or anything either.
No, and I actually recently started including some blue Loctite on there, just so you put a little blue Loctite on there, and then it should never mess around.
Yeah.
Occasionally you will have to tighten it here and there, but this is actually a solution for that, so it's just easier.
Yep.
This will be something I'll be including on the website. It's just a thumb nut.
Yep.
I'll have it in stainless and in zinc.
Okay.
So it's just easier to tighten real quickly. So if you do notice this comes loose a little bit like that, you can just quickly, easily grab it like that and just
Go in there and grab it.
So,
all right. Well, I think that's a perfect transition from. So this is the original.
Yep.
You want to call it claim to fame, and so what's and this one, by the way, now available on Rogue.com or RogueFitness.com. I actually knew that the other day I typed in Rogue.com and I was like, this isn't what I was looking.
I did the same thing.
So that's funny. So RogueFitness.com. Congratulations, by the way. That's fantastic. So now there's a couple, at least one other version here.
Yep.
And what is this? The multi-grip.
I haven't come up with a clever name for it yet. I need to come up with a name like I did for the Megalith handle, but it's basically just the neutral grip / 45-degree angle version of it. So basically what you're able to do, this and this are the same product, just demonstrating them in a different orientation. So basically what you're able to do is have a 45-degree orientation so you can press with a supinated grip at 45 or pronated grip, like your typical football bar kind of has those little angles. Or if you want a true neutral grip, you just put it in the center hole right here. And then you got that. So, and everything on here.
And what's cool is it reuses the original bracket you have that, is a little bit spaced out and gives you clearance from whatever. And then depending on the mounting holes, that does change. Does it change some of the rotation itself and like how it feels?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so I typically like, for the most, if I want to grip in the center, which is pretty standard, I typically go with this one. Honestly, the other holes aren't terribly useful, but I included them just for aesthetic. It looks good and give people options. Because someone might like to put it there. But the best that I've felt for the true 45-degree, if you want to grip in the middle, this is a really good balance point right here. Because if you just draw a straight line, it basically goes right to the middle of the handle. So that's kind of like the good balance point. So that's what I found in use. And just give people more options just in case you want them.
Yeah. Yep. Now, even going further down the progression here, you're mentioning these are the same, obviously just mounted different on the handle to give you, 45 versus neutral.
Yep.
But this one is not connected. Oh, I guess I didn't even see this. So first of all, this connected via bracket. I see your little this is like an evolution. Showing here.
That was actually the thought process. Thank you.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So okay, maybe let's talk about the bracket and then we'll go to the next one down. So sorry I missed that earlier.
No, you're good. So I will point out that I messed up and didn't bring my stainless hardware. So if you ordered a pair of stainless, everything is stainless. So this bolt is stainless, the washer stainless, the shaft collar stainless, everything's stainless.
Yep.
Not the bolt. But getting back to this guy, this is a new quick attach bracket. This is just a prototype right now. This will be a welded cap. This will be a welded cap, and it will have hole spacings here. So you can mount the handles this way or that way if you want to. I don't see a huge use for that, but again, just giving the customers the option to be able to do that.
And the main thing is speed, so then you don't have to thread or unthread anything. It's just a mag pin type.
This is on your rack.
Yes.
You just take it off, not drop your mag pin like I did, but take it off, and I want to move it over here onto the lever arm. It's just as simple as that, and just ease of use. And then, because a lot of people don't necessarily like to use the lever arms for every workout or every exercise, you can sew these up, put them away, put them on the top of your rack.
I was gonna say, but that are using for other things too, a little bit faster than. So even if it's already off and you have it unthreaded off, you want to put it back on, you want to move back down here.
Yeah.
Now it's just you're just cruising, or even move the holes, up and down as you're changing the path.
Yeah, it's gonna be harder here, easier here. The handle, the closer the handle is to the fulcrum, it's gonna be easier. So you can adjust the strength curve with simply by pulling a pin, rather than changing your whole weight horn.
Exactly.
Orientation, how to take the weights off and on. You can just move the handle up.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be a lot easier than it is if it's down here. So.
And I see 5/8 and 1 inch compatibility.
Yeah, there's the snowman kind of holes, is what I've heard them be called, but yeah.
So, and forgive me for asking this, I think you answer this. There's a 5/8 version of the handle itself. And okay, so but in this case, for whatever reason, if someone had a 1 inch handle, but maybe a 5/8 rack or some other keyhole design.
That actually has happened. Yeah.
Okay, now they have the dual compatibility.
You use a 5/8 handle with a 1 inch rack, and the cool thing is you just assemble it with obviously the nut. We have knurled nuts as well.
Yep.
Or you can have the other orientation that's down here with the whole weight horn on it. So a lot of people like to have. So the convenience of the old style of lever arm handles is that everything's together.
Yep.
So the typical U shape with the 45, it's got 4 grips, so they're all kind of bad.
Yep.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yep.
Now you still have that convenience of that, so you keep the weight horn and the handle attached.
So nice.
So everything's right there.
Especially the fact a weight horn because that's always something that has to be threaded, for safety purposes.
Exactly. And then again, you can put it on the top of your rack.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. Now, are all of these, I've been asking this in all my boot tours, are all of these available now, or what's the timing on some of these?
Yeah, so this guy, the quick attach bracket, again, I'll probably come up with a clever name for it.
Yep.
Maybe, if I'm clever enough.
So the bracket by itself, yes, right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Oh, no, never now. Okay.
This will probably be your August, September-ish time frame.
Yep.
And again, it's pretty much done.
Yep.
This is a rep upright, so it's metric, so there's a little wobble, if you see. There'll be a shim kit for that, but it does fit a true upright, so Rogue, true 3x3, so Rogue, Sornex, any rack like that, Purettes.
And then you already have the plate form for sale on your website.
Yep, and these are dual-sided.
Yep.
Yeah, these are
5/8 or 1 inch.
Yep, 5/8, one side.
Yep.
Dual-threaded one side.
And I was just talking to Britton about what we can do for having a rod in here with a knurled knob at the end, so you don't have to do a bolt head or something going into there.
You can create if you put something in there if you want to. Add
I did red Loctite. Cut off a bolt, or it's just a threaded rod, and then use a Rogue monster knurled knob thing.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It worked pretty well.
It has a little sleeve.
Oh,
so
cool.
Basically, the weights don't stash into your uprights, and it's just included, so it's also plastic. It acts as plastic washer, so don't get metal contact.
Cool.
So, those are cool. And then what I talked about earlier was the knurled knobs.
Yeah.
Little bougie, but that's kind of cool.
No, they look great, and the little indents for your fingers are a nice touch.
Yeah, just a little ergonomic touch.
Yeah.
Got some relatively passive, but still good knurling.
Yeah.
And then it includes a plastic washer that has 3M tape that you adhere yourself.
Yeah.
To get around the Rogue.
Patent. Yeah. And speaking of Rogue pen, so this one is only available through Rogue right now, or are you still selling this on your site?
So the way the Rogue deal works is Rogue has just hosted them on the website.
Okay.
So you can still buy from me, and I'll get more of the profit.
Yeah.
If you buy from Rogue, it's awesome. I'm still encourage people to do that.
Yeah.
But they get their cut of that same sale. So it's the same price, but everything's still manufactured by me.
Yeah.
And still packed in order to House of Christianity.
That's good to know that people can support you either way, and then
Yeah.
you know, obviously the Rogue way, then Rogue knows how many people are supporting.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like I'd almost rather have people. I don't want to say that.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
It's good. I'll encourage people to buy either way they want to.
Yeah.
I make a little more money if you buy from me. I make a little less if you buy from Rogue.
Yeah.
But it also encourages Rogue to keep it on their site. Yeah. Maybe offer it to other places, because right now Rogue is only offering it to the 48 continental United States.
Yeah.
So if you want them I can safely say that if you want them in your international, or if you're Alaska and Hawaii, you have to order right now through RormanStrength.com.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I ship internationally. There's a lot in Europe.
Yep.
Australia, which is insane to me.
So now the last thing in particular I really wanted to highlight here is the fact that you can use these not just for lever arms or pressing, but I see something back there with some cables that kind of show another way this can be used. And
so one of my customers, Andy PL on
he watches my videos too.
He's awesome.
Andy, if you're watching, thank you.
So Andy's awesome. He's a great customer. He's just comes with a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And basically he came up with this configuration where you could take out all the hardware of the megalith handle and then flip the handle from here to here, and then you have a really bougie, well, that wouldn't be there.
Yeah, there's a lever running there.
Yeah, you have a really bougie open D handle.
Yeah.
Kyle from Kaiser DIY has recently said this is one of his favorite cable attachments.
Oh, cool.
So for flies especially, it doesn't really run into your arm.
Yeah.
Like the cable does a lot. So this is one orientation you can do it in.
Yeah. And then those neutral grips, I saw you assembling those earlier.
Yeah, so that's the neutral grip bracket basically.
Yeah.
And the cool thing with this, I don't have it right now because I actually sold it, but you could get a little eyelet here.
Yep.
Put the eyelet here.
Yeah.
And then you have
now it's its own D.
Now you have your own D handle there. Or I actually just kind of came up with this. I'm still tinkering with this.
Yeah.
You could put an eyelet in the bracket itself.
Yeah.
And now you have that.
Yeah. A little straight bar.
Straight bar. Or again, I already sold it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are buying floor models, which is awesome. But basically, I have a little piece that's going to connect the two megalith handles together.
Yeah.
So you'll have the ability to similar function to the Mute Metals Arc.
Okay.
But it solves a problem that I've had with the Arc, and that's that the handles are too far out to do curls or triceps. From my liking.
Yeah.
I like my hands a little more narrow when I'm doing tricep, like a little closer push.
And angled still?
Yeah,
still open angle, slight angle.
Yeah, still slight angle, but it's not. It's just a little closer, so it's a little more comfortable.
And will your handles rotate? Because the arc is not rotating.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are just threaded, so they're fixed.
Yeah. Although there is a hack for that. If you get, I did this with my meat melt. In the arc. So if you get the, perfect. These 1-inch thrust bearings that I showed you guys earlier. So those are the obvious smaller version, but they have them in 1 inch.
Yeah.
And because the meat metals are 1 inch, if you put them on the side of the arc, the arc handles will rotate.
Oh, cool.
A little hack. You have if the meat metals in the arc.
Yeah.
A little hack for that. It's kind of cool.
Cool.
So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, taking through everything. And
I appreciate you and what you do.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for really appreciate it. Yeah. Now we're here at the Prime booth, checking out a few things. I'm not going to be able to talk to everything they have here, but I will say the first thing that apparently everyone's kind of come through is their new pendulum squat machine. I'm going to figure this out for the first time and hopefully not break myself. So someone left this in the lowest position, definitely. Oh, actually, how am I hitting it? Okay, very high angle. I definitely need to do some adjustments on this. So I'm taller. There's a couple different height position selections here. This is the counterweight, which someone attached a band to. We could probably take that off. Different counterweight angle adjustments. That's kind of Prime's thing, is all the different, like, very biomechanically / loading friendly adjustments. So, and then I'm guessing the foot plate itself obviously adjusts back and forth and up and down. So I was using it in a setting that was for someone smaller than me, but this will be now a little more friendly to me. There we go. Now I'll get it better. There we go. Man, I love pendulum squats. There's a couple things that I want to focus on more particularly, those being things I would like to get in for review shortly. Maybe not this being the leg extension and prone leg curl, because this is just a fantastic machine. Prime is known for their loading arms, and we're starting to see more companies start to do something very similar. I'll show you the smart arm attachment in a second, and we saw Bulletproof Fitness earlier today have this patented smart arm technology. Basically what it is, and one of the coolest things I think this is, it allows you to modulate the resistance curve based on where you load it. You'll see the different numbers, 1, 2, 3, and they actually tell you what 1 corresponds with, 1 being the middle range, 2 being the end range, and 3 being the beginning range. So meaning if you want to set the most weight at the beginning of the range, you would put it on 3, and most weight felt, that means during the movement, at the end range you put it on 2, and middle range is just your 1, pretty traditional. So for me, doing something like seated leg extensions, I love that initial stretch. So that would be the beginning range up here. That means it's going to be the hardest right when I first get on, which we will come show right here. This machine is more than my wallet could ever afford, but so the most of the resistance curve now because of that arm is here, 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 and it starts to right about here, starts to taper, and very light at the top. So for me, this is pretty ideal. Ooh, nice range of motion. This feels fantastic. Wow, for a plate loaded. And I would say that actually is a benefit of the plate loaded, is the ability to basically modulate the resistance in a way that is essentially the same as if you had a cam on a cable leg extension, leg curl type machine, because then you can say, all right, I want it this way for this part of the movement, higher for this other part of the movement. So overall, I love this idea. The only downside is it takes up a lot of space, like you'll see with some of the other things, like you see with this smart arm, which is the exact same similar loading style. And if you come around to this side so you can just see the exact same what I mentioned here, top being the highest, so hardest at the starting course of the movement. If you put it in the middle, it's going to be the most even. And don't know how heavy this is going to be, but we'll set that there for now. This is their shorty bench, which I should be getting in for review here soon, with the flip down arm attachment, preacher curl attachment. What their smart arm is again similar to some of the Bulletproof stuff, where you basically have a singular mounting system to a 3x3 rack. You have a handful of angle adjustments for which you could start this at, and 360 degrees, and different lengths in and out. So if you want to move this out or in, depending on the length of your arms, lock it in. And then different attachments itself. So these are preacher curl or tricep push down handles. They have a bunch of different other attachments. I'm not familiar with all of them, but I would like to soon for reviews. But with the shorty bench, the preacher curl pads, this setup, how I want, we are moving. And I actually want a bigger range of motion. Crank that down, all the way down. And we're doing preacher curls. Wow. That is fantastic. The handles rotate. It feels very solid. Actually, you know, I'm not doing that much weight right now just because I didn't want to go grab it, but it is not moving, and it feels very fluid and very solid. So this is definitely something I'd like to try on the channel here. So these were some of the things I was very interested in. The different loading curves. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention here, I'm not sure if this is their Prodigy rack or if this is a new version, but you'll see they have the smart arm and everything on this one upright, kind of its own standalone, with some of the other attachments for it stored here. And moving over to this, it's their 3x3 rack, lat pull down, low row, functional trainer. And you'll actually see in here, a mirror, integrated mirror, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so I see here a couple different weight stacks, 350 pounds. Let's try this. 90 pounds. They have basically dedicated, extended, almost lat pull down type handles. Then the front of this is the functional trainer trolley with probably 2-to-1. But basically you get the side mount functional trainers rotating with this built-in lat pull down low row seat. Well, I say built-in, they're attachments that you can rotate in and out. There's a pop pin on the back. Take this out, vice versa. So this is Prime's version of a 3x3 power rack. But you can just see like the quality and thought in it. The adjustable pull-up handles, rotate handles. You can see the singular mounting lat pull-down points. Again, everything they do is very high quality. Prime/Strive have been around for a long time. So this is a pretty cool looking functional rack, a lot of built-in storage. The last thing here I did want to point out is stability pad you can mount to the upright, slide it to the inside, extend it, angle it, and now, depending on how you want to do it, you can use it as any sort of back support or chest support for things like cable flies or rotational type movements where you want to pull before I rip anything across your body. You can do that, and it just adds a lot of creativity and versatility for these dual cable systems. So I'm excited to hopefully review this coming soon on the channel. So we're here in the Rogue booth, and it's a nice looking booth. First of all, you see a lot of different all-in-one racks, and I'm not gonna maybe pretend to know all the names offhand, but I will at least put them in the video here. Rogue, first of all, always known for being overbuilt. This is one thing I've been waiting to do, and as I was here early to the HomeGymCon, I saw these trolleys with the pop fins, and all I wanted to do was come over here and slide it. And this thing is very smooth. I can tell it's a well-engineered machine. I mean, everything on here, the quality is noticeably better than some of the other ones we've reviewed on the channel in the past, but this is one I'm really interested in. A lot of people are probably interested in some of these as well. You have dual functional trainer stacks on each side and a center mount lat low row belt squat, plate loaded belt squat. So this is the Rhino dropped into a functional trainer. The Rhino obviously is their belt squat machine. Belt squat on the floor, and then the functional trainers for the front trolleys. So this is probably one of their most capable racks when it comes to everything you would want to do in a singular footprint. Also huge, massive. This is another one, obviously a 6-post compared to a 4-post. Same thing, they have their functional trainer trolleys and their lat pull down tower. Functional trainer in the front. You know, the reason probably no one's done that is because then people can't grab it down. I'm not gonna do that. But lat pull. Functional trainer. Removable lat seat, so you can do the low rows from the bottom. And this thing is a big, tall boy. Very tall. So some of the other things I was really interested in down here, this is obviously, as I said again, their most up-to-date new rack systems. This one here is probably one of the more interesting things that I've heard about whispers is their reflex leg extension, leg curl machine. This is adjustments here for the back, and I'm still trying to figure out all right, I'm for the life of me, can't figure out how to get a better, there we go. You know, these machines, man. Okay. Easy. All right, it does feel pretty nice though, I will say. That is very smooth. Okay. You know, some of these companies don't make this easy on you. Move this down. My goodness. How is anyone supposed to use this? All right. The cable system on this though is nice, and they have a little cam here that I can see that you'll see. That's what makes this feel so nice. Is that little bit of cam that once the cam shaft, you can see it. That changes the strength curve to make it feel very natural. But I cannot get seated in. Jeez. Well, I don't even know what to say about this, to be quite honest. I literally can't even get locked in to do a proper leg curl. My goodness. And I review gym equipment, allegedly. My goodness. The padding's very comfortable. This is probably the smoothest leg extension, leg curl I've used, but wow, some of these adjustments are interesting, that's for sure. All right, my gosh. This will not be one I will be purchasing, let's say that. Wow. Some of the other things I see here, some of their new attachment system, things like this tricep rope. I thought this was a gimmick. Wow. 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 I'm gonna have to get one of these. That's crazy. I saw this, I'm like, who cares if it's just a cable? It goes back and forth. Wow, that feels fantastic. All right. I'm gonna check these out when I get home, that's for sure. And one thing that we won't get to see too much of, but I think is a newer product from what I understand, is the short 80-inch power rack functional trainer here on the side. Maybe we can walk around the back side and just take a look at it. This is probably the most stout looking rack ever. Center mount, lap hold down, low row, side mount functional trainer, but looks like it's for an 80-inch height basement. So this will fit pretty much anywhere. Plate storage on the back. If you come around here, keyhole design up and down the uprights. Again, the front center trolley system. So this is probably one of the most capable, stout, sturdy 80-inch racks you can have. All right, so what is this called here?
It's Vendetta.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically using the same technology we use on Gym Master 2.
Yep.
And unlike other swimming bike, they use flywheel straight the resistance. It's all from the digital resistance.
Yeah.
So step on the screen here.
Yep.
You can see. First, the courses we have inside, it's more built for the cycling skills, like develop your cadence, your endurance, and that.
Yep.
And for the scenic ride, when you are riding it, the faster you are pedaling, the view still faster as well.
That's
So
so great. That's one of my complaints about like any of the
other variety.
smart treadmills or stuff.
Yeah,
It's like you speed up, but it's just the same recording of you going through the track. That's pretty cool. I like that.
So that's for a more realistic.
Yeah, for sure.
And for this here, you know the competition called Tour de France?
Yeah.
You can actually ride in Tour de France using our Vendetta door.
I have a buddy who would like that a lot.
And also, like, you don't have to ride the whole thing. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
So when you are choosing one stage, like you ride in 10 minutes, you don't have to do it again because next time you're riding the same stage, it starts there. So the over again.
Cool.
And here, also you can like do a proof competition. Like another friend of yours have middle necks, can create a room and use it. Just like that. And also we have the width.
Okay.
So it's a bigger screen, a lighter speaker with a more immersive experience.
Yep.
And all those media are provided.
All the smart apps.
So for the data here, we don't only do calories. I'm not quite sure if you honestly heard of like FTP.
Yeah.
So this is the one you do the professional test in a professional gym.
Yeah.
Now you can use our Vinolix to do it.
Yeah.
And all the data here is more for your cycling performance.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
very, very.
Yeah, a lot of data. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can give it a try.
Sure.
Let's see. Rewrite.
Now I will definitely preface this by I am not a cyclist by any means.
Because many of the other visitors, some of them are cyclists and you really like it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I mean the resistance is really good. You can try to like press the button here. This is for resistance and it will be shown here.
Yep.
And for the gears here, you can check. So this is stimulated the real ones, the real road bikes.
Do you
Yeah, so
push?
for
How do I push? Just tap?
we just put it here.
Okay.
And for your fingers, you put it here. This is like a race
okay.
road bike gears.
See, well that's why I'm showing you. You can see my lack of knowledge on road bike. Okay.
Confidence is to bring up your like that.
Yeah.
And you can see the cadence here. So it shows just like Gym Monster. You
Yeah.
ride it, ride like
wow.
more.
Yes.
So yeah,
I'm
real
right
time.
leg dominant. Yeah.
So it's real.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So for lax pedaling,
Wow.
keep it balanced.
Yeah.
And this is the cardio zone.
Yeah.
And it's also synced to this one. The
That's
lighter
really
here.
helpful. That's one thing. It's really hard when you're trying to do set cardio zones. It's really easy to go faster than you think you are.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm more of a runner than anything, and it's hard for me just running. So this is cool to see like the live time like data and feedback.
And finally, glad that you do get those like why we designed it.
Yeah.
And everything is showcased here, and you can connect your Apple Watch.
The UI is really sleek here. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And the resistance, I mean, it's way smoother than the other products. So everything is quite well presented, and that's how our bike is different.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now is this geared towards more? I guess first thing, what is the price point of this?
It's 2,400
Okay.
for the regular price, but Prime is coming, so I think it will definitely get lower.
Yeah. Now is it? I see there was everything from like beginner classes to just casual rides to I don't even care about that. I just want to watch TV. I like that built into here. So it looks like you cater to a wide range from beginners all the way to advanced or like sport specific people who actually, do this like on a road bike. Yeah.
Yes, and they want to develop the cycling skills.
That's
I like
cool.
that.
Awesome. Now, outside of the bike and anything, any other cardio type lines you guys are thinking about getting involved with?
At the moment, we do have, but it's like still to be determined.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like
So,
that.
I had to ask, yeah.
Yeah, you had a guess, but yeah, it is.
And I can guess a few things, but I won't ask you here. Yeah.
And also we have like the hardware side. I want to emphasize one thing that is very different from the traditional bikes. It's like first, this thing it's all in one pack, so you don't have to like worry about your hair or your pad. Your go is coming, and the hair squirt in it.
Oh yeah.
Very safe. And also for traditional bikes, they have one pain point. Is when you stop pedaling, it's still feeling. But for ours, you can see no matter how fast you are riding, you stop.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it won't hurt your ankles and just like that.
That's
so,
pretty cool.
Yeah, so I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
And for the grabs here, it's like for every kind of use, like regular ones and follow those. It's very convenient.
Yeah, I'm not again, as I said, I'm not a cyclist, but this is one of those things that would like, it has enough of things that would interest someone like me who's just like interested in cardio and some other things to be like, oh, I would try some of this, or I'd watch TV, or I'd try like Zone 2 and
Exactly.
So cool, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that with me so much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for stopping by.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So guys, that's it for this Best of HomeGymCon video. First of all, I want to say a huge thank you to all the creators, the event sponsor, all the vendors who've been absolutely fantastic and so receptive of me being here. But also I want to apologize to a bunch of the vendors and people that I did not get a chance to talk to. This is my first year here and we were filming so much content, getting here at 6 to 7 a.m. every single day. So again, I just want to say my apologies. And for those of you who I didn't get a chance to talk to, I'd love to connect more in the future. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer or at least try. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you can make the HomeGymCon next year. And please tune in to many more reviews coming soon. This is Michael with the Jungle Gym Reviews. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Peace.